is amazing. Up, it's clash heads again. This is like Chaz Moskin and Cam Water.
For the first time here for season 3. Davis on pole, Vandergren in second. It's going to be sprint round action here tonight. Let's go racing here at Daytona. It was a good start there from Davis in comparison to Vandergren in behind. Cowan's absolutely bogged it up and already dropped out of the top 3 here as they come down towards turn 1 for the first time. There's biffing and barging between Gallen and Cowan. These guys are still going at it after last season. They survive for this time by though. Through turn 2 and 3 they come. Nice and clean, boys. Keep it up as they come up to...
I love riding. It's a real social thing. There's a great bond between riders.
Every weekend I look forward to getting out there. It's a freedom like no other.
Riding to work is a great way to start the day.
Shannons insure all types of road bikes, not just classics. They offer features riders really want. It's why they're one of Australia's leading motorcycle insurance providers.
Whatever you ride,
Whatever you ride,
Whatever you ride,
ride with Shannons.
Call 134646 for a quote.
Through turn 1, it was a horrible start from De Bono, who's absolutely bogged it up and gets eaten alive by Dixon and Gowans as they come on through. Through turn 1 they come, and they all spread out around in towards the first sector of the Silverstone circuit. They look all right at the moment. Okay, there's already been a car spun round. That's Jordan Ferguson off wide.
Is green at Road Atlanta here as well. Faulkner did get away. De Bono is tucked in as well. Unfortunately, Houghton is on that outside line. De Bono does want to turn it to twos. He's got the job. De Bono's overtaken. Now can he get Ben Faulkner up through turns 2 and 3? They go round the right-hander, dropping down the hill. Faulkner's out in front. De Bono second. Houghton third. Ratcliffe in fourth. No real dramas going into turn 1.
We've always had a few cars. They're all special. The T-Bird.
Oh, that's mine.
The Combi for when we want to get away. The XR8.
It's going to be a classic.
They're all insured with Shannons,
We've also got Shannon's home and contents cover.
which helps protect our automotive collectibles, tools and memorabilia in the home and garage. If you're motoring enthusiasts like us, it's got to be.
Shannon's.
Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 134646 for a quote.
This is amazing. Up, it's clash heads again. This is like Chaz Moskin and Cam Waters. Almost the same situation. Better contact going down to the hill. Sam Noble wants to sniff on Dave Coleman now. Sam Noble bottle right now because tell you what, Bruce Tanek and Jamie Dyke just absolutely drove away from us. Hayden trying to go around the outside. This is where he could have just sent it up the inside, but he hasn't defended it, which is fair enough. It's very scary out there, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's see if we get a good run. Dodds just absolutely think about it. It's a really nice move. Blake Delaney had to move out of the way.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to SRWtv, and welcome in to the Cooler Masters Super Formula Championship for round 6 of season 4 of 2024 out at VIR here this evening. Virginia International Raceway, the home of our next round before our F1 Shadow Series triple-headed to round out the season. I'm your commentator here tonight, Hamish Munro, joined alongside by Brad Hudson. And Huddo, last week, chaos ensued, controversy fulfilled, and Dylan De Bono had another poor round after Road America earlier in the season, but he's got a lot of positive rounds on his back, and if he takes last week as a drop round and he races how he did at the start of the season for the rest of the season, he'll be on for gold at the end of the season at Daytona.
Yeah, good evening, Hamish. Pleasure once again to join you up here in the commentary box. Tonight should be, nothing short of exciting. As you said last week, was I guess a few results were turned on their head. Quite a bit of controversy with the drivers going through pits and whatnot, but now that's been remedied and penalties handed out. So hopefully all the drivers are on their best behaviour this time round, and we've got the rules straight. But Hamish, we have got a lot to talk about tonight. And, I'm just really looking forward to tonight's racing.
Yeah, we got a heap to talk about. Let's be honest, no punches can really be pulled on anything that we've got to talk about tonight. We've got so much to go through, though, across the span of these two races. Of course, the AOWN, which is coming up in a month's time, how our championship is shaping up as well as some of the issues that some drivers are going to be facing next week when they have a round ban here in the SFLs. But in saying that, for our standings at this stage, Daniel Byrne has now taken over the lead of the championship, Hutto, after Dylan De Bono's poor round last week. And, De Bono may still lead after drops, but that really puts a little bit of shade of doubt in our minds that De Bono could put all this together for the whole season. But at this stage, he is the driver on form. Byrne and Gallo, they've always been strong. Loretti's been strong as well. But De Bono at this stage, he is looking like the hot favourite, even though he has had a poor round last week out at Navarra.
Well, it's probably a good little reset, a little bit bring him back down to earth sort of thing. And I guess these last 2 weeks, whilst he didn't get the result he may have liked, it might just spur him on to, I guess, try and focus and get the results that he's after. But I'm sure if De Bono can stay within the top 5 or at the lowest top 10, he'll be right up there at the pointy end of the season. But in saying that, Gallo and Byrne are no slouches, and they've had very good results all season as well. So perhaps those three will have a bit of a three-way tussle all the way to the line, Hamish.
Well, we've mentioned the fact that David Gallo has been our driver of the year thus far for 2024. He's taken home 2 championships this year. He was close to taking home 3, but Dave Roberts did clutch it out of his hands in Season 2. This season at the moment, Dylan De Bono has been the driver in control. Gallo's also on form to win the F1 Shadow Series at this point. So he's been the driver of the year thus far, and in my opinion, the best driver across all of SRW this year, just based on his performances, the field that he's racing against, the amount of quality races that he's having under his belt. David Gallo has been the Mr. Consistent. For the Pro-Am class, Matty Keane had another strong run last week, and he still continues to lead this championship over Pete Ziedler of Pork Hunt Motorsport by roughly 88 points after the drop rounds. And then for the AMs at this stage, Keegan Caldwell has it well in hand by 143 points over Kevin Wakefield, but he will miss a round next week due to a round ban. So if Kevin can somehow have an absolute blinder, remembering that Keegan cannot take a round ban as a drop round, if Kevin has a properly good round next week, that championship fight is all of a sudden, it's all on. Everything's to play for.
Well, you touched on that Caldwell's got a round ban. There's actually quite a few drivers that'll have to serve a week on the sidelines and a few rear of grids. And let me just go back through my notes. But I think Dean Sinkovich is another one that'll have a week off. Caldwell has a week off. Greg Johnson in the amateurs as well. All will also have a week off. He's a little bit way down the AM Championship ladder. But yeah, like you said, Haim, but in saying that, like, Caldwell will still need to have a few bomb results. And like last week, we saw, I guess, a chink in the armour. He demonstrated that, he just got caught up in an incident or two, and, that put him right back of the pack. But unfortunately for the rest of the AM field, they were unable to capitalise on the misfortune of Caldwell. The only person really capitalising was Josh King, our round winner for the amateurs. So the people that really need to stand up and push for those points didn't. Caldwell's still in a commanding position in that championship, and I guess we'll see what happens with the ban and how their drivers can react to that, and even tonight, and see if they can put some pressure on Caldwell.
Well, we have got so much racing to come your way here this evening. 2 races, of course, a 20 and a 40-minute. We're midway through our triple header of sprint rounds before next week we have the final sprint round of the year out at Watkins Glen, and the start of our F1 Shadow Series triple header towards the end of the season out at Daytona. Now, tonight we've got a multitude of new drivers in the series, Hutto. They're not going to be in contention for these championships or realistically the AOWN without them taking home 4 wins from 4 across the final 4 rounds. That's going to be a hell of a task for any of them to do. But if anyone has poor runs across the next 4 weeks, they could sneak themselves into the top 20 or even into the top 25, because as we know, last season, GSRC weren't even able to field all 20 drivers, and SRW got a couple of extras off the back of that. So they could get close, but realistically, I don't see them surpassing people who've done the first 5 rounds and who could possibly do the last 4 rounds of the season.
Well, Hamish, I'm just looking back at the Season 3 ladders now, and 700 points is roughly where you need to be to ensure a top 20 finish. So there's a few drivers really on the edge of that right now and should see themselves through to qualification. But yeah, for the 5 new drivers that have joined up from Team Max Boost, look, it's not undoable. The mathematics says they can do it. If you I guess get a clean sweep and the fastest lap for each round. What's that? 185 times 4. That's 360, 370. No, it's still short. Or no, just over the top. So, look, it's possible, not probable. But in saying that, it's a lot easier to have a poor round than it is to go out and have a blinder. And when I say not so much for these newcomers, it's more for the drivers who are currently or have raced all season. It's much easier to drop points than it is to go and get those points. So, look, good luck to them. If they can make it, it'd be fantastic. 5 new additions. But might be a little bit too far out of their reach, Hamish.
I think, no, we still can't do it. We need to take a photo of this timing tower because the top 3 spots are made by P1 of every single class at the moment here. I know Danny Davidson, Tony Baker, and Matt Gerard are all the leaders of their class. They're all in the top 3 of qualifying at this stage. But there's a long way to go in qualifying. The drivers will get cut off as of the 15 minutes expiring, being that it is a sprint round tonight, so they must get a lap in before the 15 minutes is up. So unlike last night in the supercars with the normal round, they had the option to start a lap before the 15 minutes was up. These drivers must finish a lap before the 15 minutes is up to be counted in qualifying. Now I'm seeing Keegan Caldwell out on circuit, but Keegan has a rear of grid.
Oh, he might get a rap on the knuckles once again for that one, because if you've got a rear of grid, you're supposed to not go out and qualify. Has he laid down a lap yet, though?
He hasn't laid down a lap yet, but so unless he's asked RC if he can do qualifying, but just get an off track every lap, or get a speeding in pits as he leaves pit lane to ensure that he has a black flag. I suppose this will now be the telltale sign. If he gets a lap that counts, it'll mean that he'll actually have a pit lane start. But he should know that he has a rear of grid because he would have been told.
Well, we'd assume that. We can only
his laps counted. He's gone top 8. His laps counted, but he's on so just to kind of bite into the meat and potatoes a little bit. He's one of a couple of drivers who've actually gotten into the threshold of a round ban. But in fairness, the admins have decided to give them rear of grids this week, and then as of tomorrow, they would have their round ban. So to go from tomorrow until the next round, or whenever the next race.
Week, yes.
So he has a rear of grid. He was not allowed to set a lap time in qualifying, which means he's going to need to start from the pit lane.
Well, I guess, we'll have to wait and see what RC does about this, even if they're alert to this situation. But look, yeah, we just have to wait and see.
We do.
I've got nothing more to say on that, Hamish.
Well, we got Andrew Rushworth in the. We got a couple of chats there actually. Brad Hayes with us. Evening to you, sir. Cowie in there, not risking the rig in this storm. Bummer was enjoying VIR. See you all next week by the looks of it. Well, hopefully we do, Cowie. And then Andrew Rushworth saying, evening all, sitting this one out tonight. Reckon there will be chaos. I think you are correct on that one there, Andrew. I don't know the likelihood of safety cars tonight, though, Hutto, seeing as how open this track is. But I think there is a lot of opportunities for just corpses of cars to be left out in the grass around VIR. Definitely, I think there's a huge opportunity for that. As Davison has gone fastest once again, a 138.0 or 0.8 across that last lap. Gowans goes P2. Kane Ryder on debut tonight has gone P3. His teammate, he's now P4, is Thomas Donahoe's gotten past him. Ray Oliver's now gone into P5 of SLM. Ocean Colangelo on debut into the series. She's gone P7 and now dropped down to P8 thanks to Mitch Noble. So the times are coming in quick and fast, Hutto. More and more drivers are getting more and more confident and a lot more pace out of the car. I don't know if Danny Davison's pole position time is going to stay.
Yeah, I guess, as we've seen now, there's a plethora of times starting to come through. And well, there's a few noticeable names I can't see up the top just yet, and that's the outfit from Carlin's and Dylan De Bono. Where are they right now in the timing tower? Just scanning. Byrne down in P29, De Bono P31, Gallo P33. So I can only imagine they're just, circulating the track and waiting for their, turn or spot or going to put down a flyer just now. But yeah, expect to see those guys in amongst the top 10 once they lay down a lap, Hamish.
Andrew Rushworth saying, I predict someone will go to the Shadow Realm at the end of the back straight some point in the two races. I think you might be right on that one, Andrew. I think as well, Hutto, if someone gets a black flag tonight for a drive-through, I reckon someone serves it in the pit lane on the back straight.
Well, not exactly the correct pit.
It's not
pitting zone, but it'd be quite humorous.
It's not against the written rules.
No,
there's no supplement. I don't believe there's supplementary regulations saying that someone can't serve the black flag.
No, we already had enough controversy last week. Let's not put any more ideas in drivers' heads, shall we, Hamish?
You know, I'm in the messenger. I'm not saying they should do that.
You're playing the devil's advocate. You're yeah, but you could.
I'm just saying there are loopholes that drivers could find. Not that I'm advocating that they should find them.
But that would be dependent on the track configuration, and that would actually stipulate where the pit lane is. So.
I suppose. But have they stipulated that? That's the question.
iRacing does.
Very true. Very true. They do indeed. Andrew Rush is saying if someone gets squeezed, they might use it to overtake. They might. There's no pit limiter in that pit lane.
I can definitely see that though, like that pit lane off to the left-hand side. If they're going to go three wide, or if someone probably runs up wide, I wouldn't be surprised they'd rejoin, and that's actually a much safer rejoin route than trying to come straight back onto the track.
I think you have a big argument against race control if they were to complain about you doing it. Say, well, it's either that or I hit the wall.
Well, you're to take avoiding action if that means going off the track. Drivers are to do so to avoid making contact with another driver. So, look, using that pit lane stretch on the back straight, look, you can use it to, avoid a contact, but yeah, I doubt drivers will be using that as the fastest way around the track tonight, Hamish.
I doubt that. I doubt that as well. I don't think they will. We've got over 40 drivers in the session tonight, Hutto. Brandon Levin finds himself inside the top 15 in qualifying at the moment. Dylan De Bono has gone P3. Daniel Byrne's gone P2, but Davison has actually bettered his time, 138.53. So he's found some pace, and I have to wonder if there's a correlation with him going back to the Aston Martin F1 livery of him actually finding some pace, and this might even get him a win now. Although he did get a win in that black Ferrari livery that he had on the car previously. So
we're suggesting that the livery gives you an extra couple of bit of horsepower, Hamish, or a better time. So
quite possibly. Andrew saying, would it be an active pit because of this layout? Andrew, you can serve black flags through the pit lane on the back straight. It counts them. It counts it as a pit lane. There's no pit limiter through there because the actual pit lane has the pit limiter. but it still recognises you serving a black flag through a pit lane when you go through that pit lane.
Really?
Yep. We had someone serve one in our GT4 league on Monday through that pit lane. There was no rule saying that they couldn't do it, so it will.
Well, I guess
accept it.
RC will have to be on their toes and on the ball to keep an eye out for that one. I think with what happened last week, I don't think anyone would be game to try and tempt fate again, Hamish. They'd be handed a 20-point penalty, I guess, for misconduct or trying to, break the rules as such. But
quite possibly.
Oh, right.
Yeah, Rushy's agreeing with us at the moment. It could definitely spice things up. Adrian Loretti, he's off the pace a little bit tonight, Hutto. He's further back in the field at this stage. He did fix his camera angle last week for us, so we can actually see inside of his rig now compared to just on the back in the corner of his room. I mean, look at the look at how much I'm trying to think what the word would be to describe like how taken in he could be by his rig. Like, he's just surrounded by screen.
He's engulfed by those screens, Hamish. He's immersed. That's probably the word you're after.
Yes, the immersion would be at maximum for him in that rig.
And I guess the good thing is, like, having the screens come so far back to his peripherals, it really does kind of, you can look left and look right, and you can see the cars, like, if they're coming up upon you. But look, I know already he's just coming across the line now, and hopefully he improves. But he's, before I shoot myself in the foot, wait for his time.
Oh, what's it gonna be? Nah, no better. It was a 44.3.
Because I will say he's got very good racecraft. He's known to, I guess, work his way through the field. Like last week again, I think he qualified semi-mid pack somewhere, Hamish, and he was able to work his way through the pack and, hazard avoidance and get some points out of it. But I guess that's just the different driving styles we see out there, Hamish. There's drivers that are very quick in qualifying and can't put it together when it comes to race, and then there's, you've got the complete package, and those guys are normally pros that sit towards the top. And then you've got a bunch of guys that, qualifying's not quite their forte, but are able to easily pick up spots just with some smart racing, Hamish.
Yeah, I think Adrian tonight, even if he doesn't qualify so well, I think he will be able to just pick his way through the field. I think we could easily find him in the top 15, maybe even up towards the top 10 in the feature. So he might not have the one lap pace at this stage, but he has got the consistency to run consistent laps and get up there as best as possible. So we'll keep an eye on him throughout the night. Kane Ryder, who he mentions on debut here this evening, he's now found himself inside the top 4 for Team Max Boost, which I do think is a it sounds like a cartoon character who races cars from the mid 2000s.
That or a mobile company.
Yeah, or a mobile company. Yeah.
Yes, no, it's fantastic to see new drivers joining at such a late point in the season, and hopefully they can settle in nice and quickly, have some enjoyable racing, and really, I guess, stamp their authority on this season, Hamish.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for them to get into the field at the AWN, but if they have a good run, you never know. You mentioned it. It's easier to have a poor round than it is to have an absolute stellar round. So if they can get on the right side of history, they might find themselves with an opportunity to race on the 11th of December. So we'll keep an eye on how they go out tonight and also obviously throughout the rest of the season. We've got a minute to go left in the session. So drivers who have started a lap will need to try and finish their lap at this point. Drivers might be too far away. Oh, Danny Davidson, he might have...
Davidson's probably
he might be the
far
last
away.
car.
What is it, a minute 38 around the track? It's quite a lengthy little circuit. I think you'd almost be running a minute from down near the oak tree, Hamish, right down the back of the track. Because yes, it's a nice long straight, and you'll be able to make up a fair whack of time there. But I think it's just the slower portion of the track. That's your turn 1, turn 2, and then kind of leading into that SS section that'd probably chew up a good amount of time. So I reckon the minute mark's probably just shy, or I guess, before the oak tree section. That's where the minute mark would be, Hamish.
Yeah, I think like these cars here, David Gallagher, Daniel Byrne, they're going to be nowhere near close enough to being able to get a time in. This is going to be tight for Davison, but I think you might be right. He might just be slightly too far away. Fahey's pulled it up. Where's Martin? He's only just coming up over the crest of the hill as well. So end of the session, and there's only a few cars who can set times in the end. It's going to be Dan Bartish who crosses the line. Who else is going to get cut off? Pretty much everybody at this stage. Qualifying is done and dusted. 36 cars have set times in this session, but there are a multitude of cars who have not set times in qualifying this evening. So this is going to be quite an interesting affair for a lot of these drivers out in the field. But first heat to come our way as drivers will join the grid. And we will get ready to go racing at VIR here this evening. Virginia International Raceway starting grid for race number 1 of round 6 here this evening. Danny Davidson will start pole position ahead of Dylan Tabono in P2. Kane Ryder and Daniel Byrne on the second row of the grid with Thomas Donoghue and Doug Gowans on the third. Oisin Colangelo and David Gallo will start in the top 8 with Brandon Levin in the top 9. Matt Keane will get inside the top 10. He'll start pole for the Pro-Ams. Vaughan Ryder on debut. He'll start alongside second place for the Pro-Ams. Jason Depp inside of the top 12. A bit further back, we've got Jay Dixon, Ray Oliver back into the series. Matt Tesseriero, Pete Ziedler, Keegan Caldwell on pole for the AMs alongside Giuliano Sinise. That's a poor qualifying from him. Matthew Gerard, Tony Baker, they'll make up the top 20. Ben Brook and Scott Pocock on the 11th row with Mitch Noble and Darren Fahey inside the top 12. Now, Keegan, importantly, will have a pit lane start, we assume, Hutto, because he was supposed to have a rear of grid, but he did set a time in qualifying, so we should see him not take to grid in this race, although he is out on the grid at the moment. So RC may have missed that. Dan Bartish, Nick Martin inside the top 26. Tyler Sheaf, Callan Hodgkinson, Callum Rosanita, Nathan Verney for the top 30. And then, I did not mean for that to rhyme. That's hilarious. Jordan Ferguson, Timothy Schmalenberg, Adrian Loretti, Tyson McAvoy, and Kevin Wakefield up the back with Nick Schmalenberg, the last car to get a time in this qualifying session. With Sam Katakazina, Shane Ratcliffe, Andrew Rushworth. I don't think Rushy's actually racing. Neither is Cowie. Daniel McCrowan on debut. He's at the back with Greg Johnson with the rear of grid. Dean Singovich with the rear of grid. Kyle Gretsch joining the wrong car this evening, so he's giving a hand to race control. But 40-odd cars out on track. Hutto, lap 1, turn 1. This could be quite the chaotic start to this race.
Yeah, it's not what we want to see, but time and time again, it's always turn 1 or turn 2, right? Like, turn 1 is, into horseshoe. It's a big looping hairpin. It's easy to loop the car. Like, I think we'll see several drivers loop the car at that point of the track tonight, and then going into turn 3, turn 4, and drivers will just have to check up and be alert to the drivers in front of them. But look, after it goes through that S's section through Snake and then the S's through the back down to Oak Tree, where the track really starts to open up. So I think there's a lot of overtaking opportunities tonight, Hamish. But I think the biggest overtaking opportunity, other than the back straight, is actually just going to be drivers going off track. Because once you go outside those white lines, it's like it's ice, it's grass. So I think a lot of drivers will be caught out that way tonight, Hamish.
Yeah, I agree. I think dipping a tyre in the grass is going to be it's going to catch a lot of drivers out.
Yeah, it'll just send them off into the weeds.
So lights are up though. We're going to get going racing here for race number 1 of the evening for round 6. We are underway out at VIR. It was a great start from the leader, Danny Davison, off the pole. The gaggle of cars rockets down towards turn 1. Can they keep it clean down here, or will there be death? There's a multitude of them trying to go 2, 3 wide into the corner. There's already contact with Callan Hodgkinson and a couple of drivers in behind him, as I think Tesseriero is dropping spots early, but majority of the field have made it through nice and clean.
Yeah, it just looked like Tony Baker copped a little bit of contact there and went wide in the early stages there, but it seems that the drivers just starting to shuffle around and sort themselves out. So I think it'll take 2-3 laps for the drivers to really calm down and get into this race, Hamish.
Oh, that looked like Ben Brook off the road on the side of the grass, so it's already catching drivers out through the chicane. Look at the amount of cars out there. It's just a multitude of drivers in the field tonight. Over 40 of them on track at VIR. Now, this is a lengthy circuit, although the lap times are quite quick of around about 1:40 as Tony Baker's had a moment.
Off again.
Where is he? I think he's in the paddock. There he is right there. He's just rejoined the track. So he somehow found his way back on the road safely, but Davison still leads. De Bono second. Ryder, Byrne, Donahue, Gallo, Gowans, Levin, Colangelo, Keane make up the top 10 as they rocket through the roller coaster section at the end of the back straight. This is one of the more difficult parts of the track, Hutto. You're fighting for grip. You're fighting the car to try and get it turned in for these differing changes of direction, but also the differing sort of apexes and often on camber corners. It's so deceiving when you're going through there.
And that's the thing, like, this car is so downforce dependent. As soon as you get, if there's an apex a corner at the top of a crest, you lose all sort of downforce, and the car just wants to slide well and truly out into the grass. So, yeah, that'll be a tough thing for the drivers to try and manage tonight, Hamish.
Here comes De Bono looking to take the lead from Davison. They're wheel to wheel into turn 4 and 5. They're still side by side through there. Great battling between them. De Bono takes the lead on lap 2. He started on the front row. He set himself up for the move, and now he finds himself ahead of Danny Davison, who puts massive amounts of pressure on him up the hill.
Yeah, and I guess Davison will be trying to ride his tail all the way down to Oak Tree and then try and get a good run as they go into that back straight, Hamish. And just quickly noting, Darren Fay down to 15 positions already, Hamish. I wonder if he sustained damage or just had a little excursion.
He has been in the pit lane, so he quite possibly could have been off track. We'll check through some of the incidents that could have happened throughout this race thus far. Look and see where Loretti is. Loretti is already up 4 spots in this race as De Bono and Davison go side by side once again. Look out for Kane Ryder on debut, though. He's going to try and hang it round the outside of De Bono. Takes the inside line at the next corner.
Good job.
That's a great move from him. He had the cojones to go for it, and he pulled it off. De Bono gave him the spot. He wasn't willing to fight it through that position. And just the old mantra of De Bono this season, live to fight another day, paying off once again, saves himself for a later opportunity.
Well, looking at his counterpart, Vaughan Ryder's actually just gone off track just now. A few drivers on our timing towers lighting up in red. Scotty Pocock, one of those. Matthew Gerard off track as well. So hopefully just a little excursion on the grass and then coming back on the track. But yeah, what about these opening exchanges, Hamish? I think there's going to be a real good battle for the rest of the evening if these three drivers can keep it together.
Oh, we could be in for prime time viewing. Kane Ryder has now taken the lead of the race from Danny Davidson. So he now tries to run away from the championship contenders of De Bono, Byrne and Gallo in behind Davison as well. If Davison can have a strong run tonight, that'll really reignite his championship hopes. Side by side with De Bono now, who'll be trying to chase down Kane Ryder. All of a sudden, Hutto, you have a feeling that the levels at the top end of the pro field has gone up a notch ever since Team Max Boost have joined the field. Ryder, though, with a big lock up onto the back straight. That might give De Bono a good run down the straight as he tries to weave to get him out of the way. But he's only got 2 moves, remember, down the straight. He cannot weave too much.
No, and look at the train behind him, Hamish. Like, as we look at our timing tower as well, a lot of orange and a lot of yellow within the top 10. So everyone else is just getting a draft off a draft off a draft. So, look, I am expecting to see quite a few moves being performed in these opening exchanges, Hamish.
Well, we can see as well, Adrian Loretti on his virtual camera with us. He is trying to get a move done. I believe that is on Nick Martin just ahead of him. He's actually just had a massive rollover. What has happened to Adrian Loretti? We caught it on his cam. He's had an absolutely massive moment down the back straight. And this is what has happened. Oh, Nick's just kind of turned over. Oh, my God.
Oh.
Surely this has got to be a safety car.
I imagine Loretti be getting on to race control quick, smart. But I guess that's the thing about this circuit. There's enough runoff to the left and right. No, those cars are going a bit slower now. I think the safety car has been called. Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. Oh, there's another car there as well. I think Dean Singovich. So he's also been involved in something too. You can see Callum Roseneder in the bottom corner. He's currently just circulating towards the back of the field as well. But we'll try and get some replays happening of what has occurred across this lap, because it appears there's been so much happening throughout this race that we've just missed whilst focusing on this front pack battle. So let's unpack this for a second, Hutto. So Matt Tesseriero has been involved in an off track. That was a minor. So he's okay. Oh, no, he's not. He got spun round by
Loops
Brandon
around.
Levin.
Oh, and a sore bum. But
Yeah.
yes, like, I think we're going to see a lot of that. A lot of drivers just, touching the grass and then having a bit of a spin off to the side.
So what's happened to Dean here?
Dean Sinkovic is just the same
Ooh.
thing. He's just touched the gone a little bit too far over that curb on the left-hand side and found himself in the fence. So that's 2 victims now.
Yep, and he actually lost his rear wheel. I thought this was Sheafy further around up towards the back end of the top end of the back straight, I should say.
You reckon slow spin after Oak Tree?
Yep, exactly. Oh my God, Vernie with evasive action. Very lucky not to get caught out. And then, of course, that moment.
Smart driving,
Yeah.
Sheafy.
And then, of course, that moment with Adrian Loretti as well. This was huge with Nick Martin. So he's just kind of chopped his wing up. Like there was just a littlest bit of overlap between them. And it's just ended in an absolute nuclear warhead going off on the back straight. So Loretti is in pain at the moment. We're waiting for the safety car to pick up the leader, which I believe they are out on track, which is good to see. So safety car is confirmed. Gives us time to have a little breath. But
What about I'm about to say those opening exchanges, Hamish? That was 6 minutes, and that just elapsed like nothing because we were just so, I guess, engrossed by the action that was occurring at the front, and like those 3-4 drivers, even Byrne was like hammering down on P2, P3 towards the end there, but I think this probably is a real disadvantage to Kane Ryder, the newcomer, because he was just starting to make a bit of a break. Away from De Bono and Davison as those two were fighting, but now the pack's going to all bunch back up and they're going to have to take the restart, and I think the train is going to be a pivotal thing. If you can break away from the drivers behind you, fantastic, but if you lose touch from the train in front of you, then it's all but game over, Hamish.
yeah, so we've already got Nick Martin, Matt Gerard, Dean Sinkovic in the pit lane. Scotty Pocock's also a lap down. Sam Katakazinos luckily has gone past the safety car, so he'll get a lap back. Adrian Loretti was able to tow back fast enough and get past the safety car fast enough to actually get his lap back off that as well, Huttos. This is a very rare occurrence that this actually happens, where a driver is able to tow back in time and not lose a lap to the whole field when they've caused the safety car. So Scotty Pocock should now get his wave around. I believe Nick Martin will as well. I don't know about Dean Sinkovic, though, whether he rejoins the circuit, but I think this puts a bit of pressure now on Kane Ryder, because he's at the front of the field. De Bono is going to be hunting him down straight onto the rear wing of that Team Max Boost car, but De Bono knows he doesn't necessarily need the win over Kane. He just needs to beat the rest of the field to maintain his championship lead.
Correct. It's irrespective if Kane finishes first, third, 10th or whatever. It's the difference between De Bono, Davison, Byrne and Gallo. That's what he needs to keep a reminder of. Like, if Kane Ryder, starts driving off into the sunset, let him go. Your battle's behind you. You need to keep those guys behind you. That's what I'd be trying to drill into De Bono's mind right now.
Yeah, I mean, you got to remember that his battle's not with him. Kane hasn't been here the whole season. It makes no difference to De Bono's championship if he battles him. It comes down to the controllable, and the risk management skills that De Bono's been putting into play all season. He doesn't need the win. He doesn't need it. He just needs P2 ahead of everybody else. Realistically, he could finish P4 behind the 3 Team Max Boost cars who qualified in and around the top 10, and he's still fine because everyone else is behind him at that point.
Well, that's the thing. It's like if in the event you have to run away from a tiger or a lion, you don't have to be the fastest person. You just got to be faster than the slowest person. Just be faster than the guy behind you. That's it.
Right.
Exactly right. I guess in terms of championships, Hamish, I guess we've touched on the pros a little bit. We talked to Bono and we talked about the amateurs as well. But the Pro-Am Championship, we need to, I guess, check in with Matty Keane and Peter Zeidler, P10 and P12 respectively. Both still glued at the hip. Matt Keane still with a small points advantage of, I think it was 68 points.
It was
either
68 or 88,
points.
something like that, yeah.
Yeah, no, 68 points. So Keane on 663, Zeidler on 595. So, look, it'll give Matty Keane just a slight advantage if they can hold these positions. But, at this point in time, it seems like it's a bit of a two-horse race with Nathan Verney just a little bit further behind Zeidler on 5:07, so a full 156 points away from Keane. Should be an exciting race to the end of the season for these two, Hamish.
Yeah, it should be. But we often see this happening. The Pro-Am title race always comes down to 2 or 3 drivers in the battle. I don't think we've ever seen anyone kind of just walk away with it at any point, Hutto, at least from my memory.
Not in recent memory. It's always been, I guess, quite close or up and down until about round 7, and then usually they seem to gallop away or just clinch it in round 9. So yeah, the Pro-Am one's actually a bit of a tricky one. It's almost like the championship in English football, right? You've got the Premier League being the pros, and then you've got the championship, the most competitive league in the world, trying to make that top 20. But I guess, I would like to say that's the comparison here. But yeah, it's a sense of that. Like, you've got so many drivers that are, I guess, mixed talent. They could be up, they could be down, and there's a good portion of drivers that on their day they could definitely be driving in the class above. It just comes down to that consistency, Hamish.
I was about to say, if you were about to compare the AMs to Sunday League 3rd tier, like below League 2, I think you would really really offend a lot of drivers out there in the national conference.
I'm sure they wouldn't mind. There's a few old codgers down the back that don't mind going out for a kick on a Wednesday, but yeah.
It's just strictly Sunday football in the morning and then pub straight after is those sorts of tiers. But it just seems that the competitiveness now has been turned up to an absolute level that I feel like it's almost going to need a complete restructure of who's in what class come the start of 2025, because I think
with these numbers,
anyone and everyone you could make arguments for being in one class or the other.
Absolutely, and with these numbers we're seeing, Hamish, like we've got 40 drivers on track. You'd almost be itching or hinting at possibly 2 splits, but I've just kept an eye on the timing tower. It's going to be a 1-lap dash, Hamish, I think, towards the line. If it's going to take a minute 38...
I don't think it will, because we're 13.5 minutes into this race.
Oh, sorry, 20 minutes, yes.
Yeah.
Still got a few minutes to expire. Got excited towards 15. But yes, probably maybe 4 laps or so. But yeah, it should be a good little dash to the line here, and we'll be able to see if Kane Ryder, whilst on debut, can take away the victory. He'd join a list of a very small amount of drivers that have won on debut, Hamish.
Yeah, I mean, if he weren't to win this race, but he were to win race 2, would that also count because it's his debut round?
Absolutely.
Fair enough. I think that would be an even shorter list, wouldn't it? You don't win your very first race, but you win your second in your first round.
Yeah, I definitely have to crunch the
that'd be a small
the
sample
record books
size
for that one. But yes, like Kane Ryder, he's in the driver's seat right now. He's leading the pack, and he'll. I think it's going to be a very slow release. I don't think he'll go early for this restart, Hamish.
Yeah, I don't know. You don't want to leave yourself open to attack for turn 1. Maybe he goes just after the pit entry. No, not quite yet. So yeah, it looks like he's going to try and hold them. He's going to try and hold them all the way to the line. He's gone.
He's gone.
Yeah, in the slowest restart I think I've ever seen at VIR. Kane Ryder has gone back to green. We got Dylan DeBono P2, Danny Davison in P3, Daniel Byrne, David Gallo, Thomas Donahue, Doug Gowans, Ocean Colangelo, Brandon Levitt, and then Matt Keane makes up the top 10. There's a heap of mid-pack battles at this stage. Keegan Colwell's been spun round at turn 1. Massive moment off the restart. Vernie's been involved. Oh, my God.
That green car might get a bit of a rap on the knuckles. We're waiting to see what comes of that one.
Well, that is Keegan Caldwell, who we mentioned should have had a rear of grid, as Mitch Noble's off the road as well. I don't think we'll get another safety car at this point in the race, as DeBono's looking to go 1v1 with Ryder. Up the hill they come, side by side. Velocity Simlaz versus Team Max Boost. Massive speed wobbles from both of them up the hill. DeBono takes back the lead of this race. It's on Hutto for the win. DeBono does not want to give away the moniker of dominance here in the SFL.
Now they've got that charge all the way up the hill to the start-finish line, Hamish. It's going to be on for young and old today, I think.
There's been another moment further back. Ray Oliver's been involved as well as Brandon Levin, but the battle for the lead is still on at this point. Ryder and DeBono, Davison still there. Burns there to pick up the crumbs if it happens. Ryder gets back past. Lock up from him though. DeBono trying to go around the outside. Davison, oh my God, how have they survived?
And Burns says thank you very much. How about that, Hamish?
How in the hell have they survived through that? That was massive wheel-to-wheel action. Gallo's now gotten past Davison as well, who's actually dropping spots. He must have a slowdown. He's giving up a multitude of positions. Ryder, though, leads the way. 3.5 minutes left to run. DeBono's right there. The Carlins boys are right there. It's maximum pressure on the championship lead for Byrne and DeBono. They battle it out for this title. Ryder is here just for the bragging rights to try and claim his first win.
Yes, I guess Kane's just here for the ride. Putting maximum pressure getting put on Kane at the front here. But yeah, these opening exchanges have been nothing more or been very, very exciting, Hamish. And we get to do it all again as DeBono's lining himself up to, I guess, have another attack very soon through the S's. But I think he'll just bide his time and wait to the back straight to really make his move.
He might well do. Ryder's trying to balk him up the hill, though. Drive-through penalty for car 663. Incident responsibility on lap 3. So they're finally getting into the meat and potatoes of these penalties coming the way of these drivers in the field for the multitude of incidents that have happened. Ocean Colangelo's had a moment where she ended up. She's back on the road at the end of the back straight. But Ryder still leads the way. 2 minutes 20 left to run. DeBono, well, he wouldn't take back the lead of the championship. Oh, they're wheel to wheel. Be careful. Oh, my God.
Gee, these drivers are pushing it to the limits, aren't they, Hamish?
They really are. They really are.
Oh, you almost just got heart-in-mouth moments as they come over that ridge to the left-hand side. Oh, this is exciting stuff for everyone.
It really is. On board with Ryder now. We've got 2 laps left to go. Less than 2 minutes in this race. DeBono's going for it round the outside at turn 1. This will give him the opportunity at 2 and 3 if he can hang it round the outside of Ryder here. Byrne is right there to take advantage. DeBono takes the lead. Yes, he does.
Unrelenting. He's just attack, and Kane's risen to the occasion. Just, 9 times out of 10, and now he just faces, I guess, an attack from Byrne. Byrne will be licking his lips trying to get past Kane, but I think Kane will be eyeing off DeBono, trying to get him back on that back straight again, Hamish.
He will. We're on board now with Daniel Byrne trying to chase down Kane Ryder. The best driver of 2023, according to the F1 Shadow Series, was Daniel Byrne. So Ryder's in good company at the moment. He's got, the driver who was the best driver at the first half of Season 4, Dylan DeBono. He's got Daniel Byrne, who's always been at the top of our list. And he's got David Gallo, the best driver of 2024 thus far. So Ryder, he's in deep waters, but he's in deep waters with the sharks of the SFLs at the moment.
And here we go again, Hamish. And I think we're going to have one more lap after this one as well.
We will. So it should be white flag lap this time by. Ryder's trying to take back the position from DeBono. They go side by side once again. DeBono retains the lead off the back of that battle. Byrne is right there to take advantage if either of these drivers makes a mistake or they make contact. As they rocket down towards the line, Barney will be out with the white flag. 1 to go in the battle for the win in race number 1. And DeBono could be on for another spectacular performance, but Ryder is right there, side by side into the braking zone for turn 1. Who's going to get the advantage, Hutto, when they roll around?
Oh, I tell you what, I think DeBono is going to really stick
out.
Oh,
they touched wheels! They've touched wheels. Ryder has gone round. Ryder has gone round after they've touched wheels.
I guess RC will be probably reviewing that one after the race and possibly handing out a penalty, or I guess we'll leave that one down to RC, see what happens there. But yeah, I guess now DeBono has to fend off Daniel Byrne down the back straight. And I'll tell you what, it seemed like down the back straight, you want to be on that right-hand side, so you've got the inside corner for the right-hander directly after that back straight, or the second after the back straight. So, just the slightest of contact as they engage in what...
Honestly, it looks like Kane's turned over on him a little bit, and he's just kind of squeezed him.
That's I'd almost call that a racing incident, Hamish.
I think it is, honestly. Because if
here we go for the win.
Yeah, It's on. Byrne and De Bono, the top two in the championship. Byrne took the lead of the championship after last week at Navarra. De Bono will be hoping to reclaim the lead of the title race as Byrne's going for it down the inside for the end of the back straight. De Bono, I don't know if he's going to be willing to fight it too much, Hutto, knowing it's the final lap. He'll be willing to give up the win just to solidify points inside the top two. There's no more opportunities for him as Byrne comes round the final corner. He's only led one lap. It was only half a lap. It was the final lap as Daniel Byrne takes the win in race number 1 of round 6. De Bono home in P2. Gallo's going to make up another double podium for Carlins. Gowans home in P4. Davison up inside the top 5. Donahue in P6. Ziedler takes the Pro-Am win in race 1. Dixon and Sinise for the top 9. And Matt Keane makes up for the mistakes of last week. Finishes in 10th place and he'll have the pole for race number 2.
Yeah, Matty Keane in a prime position now to really try and gallop away from his, I guess, his competitors in Peter Zeidler. Zeidler gaining a few points back on him there, but I guess, yeah, he'll be looking to really make amends and get past Keane in the second race, Hamish.
So I'll point out as well, a couple of drivers made some good gains tonight. There's a reason Callum Rosanita is smiling. He's up 11 spots and inside the top 18 at the moment. So that was a good run from him to the end. And Adrian Loretti, after launching his car to space, is back up to P22 and up 11 spots from where he started. That's a great effort from him. Kevin Wakefield's also up 10. He's inside the top 25. Jordan Ferguson has won his first class race here in SRW for the AMS. Congratulations to Jordan.
And you talk about movers and shakers. I think you've just missed out one more driver, Hamish. Shane Ratcliffe up 24 positions.
I didn't even see his name. I didn't even see it. What a race from Shane. Well done to him. There are a couple more up there as well that we've missed, unfortunately, but we will try and mention them in race 2 when we see where they started. But warm-up action to come, Hutto.
Righto, Hamish. Take a breath. How about that?
We've had our work cut out for us in this race. A lot to unpack. I agree with you on that moment with De Bono and Ryder. I think that's a racing incident every day of the week.
Yeah, I just lost wheels. I don't think there was anything in it.
The only reason it would be a racing incident, I think, is if you penalise Ryder, it would be self-penalising because he spun.
Yes.
De Bono had nowhere to go. He's on the apex of the corner. He's alongside, Ryder's the attacking driver. He has to attack him safely. So that would be where that would come from.
I'm just reading the YouTube comments as you are, Hamish.
Okay,
Andrew Rushworth saying, "Okay, now we can blink."
We can.
Goalie, awesome action packed. Yeah.
This is already the best race I've ever called at VIR, by the way.
This has been nothing short of exciting. To be honest, this is not one of my favourite tracks.
It's not one of
what
mine
I've
either.
seen, I'm like, I don't know. I don't think I want to be racing. I just want to be watching.
Yeah,
because
I don't want to be out there.
If race 2 is going to be anything like race 1, I think we're in for an absolute treat. But I'm hoping there's, I guess, one less safety car, Hamish.
Possibly, but I think we might be in for 2.
Oh, you're going 2 for this one.
Because if we had another 5-10 minutes in that race, we would have had a second safety car for sure. It just so happened. Who chose some of the camera shots? Flat trees. Lol. It's not my camera pack. I was given it. It's on the scenic camera at the moment. So,
what's wrong with flat pack trees? It's good for the environment, right?
Exactly. Exactly. 2 past trees work for everybody.
But Hamish, I guess, yeah. Let's just take a deep breath and.
It's all we can do. It's all we can do at this point is take a breath.
That was fantastic. I think that's probably one of the tighter races we've seen this season. I think that's up there along with the finale of season 2, Hamish. That's the sort of excitement we've been seeing. Even the Australian Open Wheel Nationals was up there. That's definitely in my top 3. Speaking of the Open Wheel Nationals, beginning in 4 weeks' time, I think.
Yeah, December the 11th. The 11th is the planned date.
December.
And I can have a little fist pump to myself because there's guaranteed to not be Silverstone again. We're not running Silverstone back, but the other options that were on the wheel spin will still be on the wheel spin. So they will add another track.
I think there'll be an addition to the forward tracks being chosen. But yes, I believe the guys behind the scene currently in talks with the track and the setups and whatever else is going through the motions. The good thing is all the foundations have been laid from last season's or the first race we had almost 3 months ago. So that was a fantastic event, and I actually tuned into the GSRC race last night, and they were also talking it up and getting excited for it. So I think it's going to be nothing short of spectacular again, Hamish.
My fingers and toes are crossed for Montreal.
Ooh,
Montreal or Portimao. They are the two that I want.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be a tight track like Montreal. I don't think they're going to put a heap of walls either side, because then that just breeds safety cars, and I guess you're not leaving yourself susceptible to an abundance of safety cars. But we want to be able to see drivers just kind of not obliterate into smithereens should they make contact. But yeah, I think a track with a lot of runoff will probably be there. I can't even remember the tracks that were. I think Jerez was one of the tracks.
I think Sebring was on there last time. You know what? Honestly, after last week, I'd be okay with Navarra.
Navarra was quite entertaining. It was a good track. And much like Portimao, and there's one more track on the service. But yeah, there's a lot of tracks that have that same sort of feel or character to it, with like the W shape, as we talked about it last week, Hamish. But I guess with SRW actually racing a Jerez in week 8 of our series, it might be a...
that one may get taken off the wheel spin, because it'll be so close to when we actually run it. So.
Correct, and I think I guess, giving everyone a fair and open chance, as we see Vernie just take a little excursion onto the grass. I guess bit of sporting fairness. Neither league would be racing the chosen track this season, so essentially we can just about cross off anything that we've raced this season. And having not looked at GSRC's calendar, I know they raced at Suzuka last night as well, so perhaps not Suzuka either, Hamish.
I mean, anyone who would want chaos would say Summit Point or Tsukuba. I don't want that. I do not want that.
I'm about to say, you're talking Tsukuba from the 86s last week, Hamish? Is that what you're...
Yeah. Yeah, and Summit Point, because no one wants to race at Summit Point. But...
I've raced at Knock Hill in the Dallara F3s. That's a lot of fun, but you've got to have a very small field. Not with 40
cars, there's no way.
I'm thinking, what are the other little tracks that are out there? What's the one that's joined the service?
Chicago would be fantastic. Cadwell would be death.
Cadwell, yes. Oran Park would be awful. Winton would be awful.
If we could line up Thruxton being the brand new track where no one would have practice on it, you'd have to force 40 drivers to buy Thruxton, but I wouldn't be opposed to us running Thruxton.
They might go down like a lead balloon, perhaps. But...
Quite possibly. Starting grid for race number 2, though, will be as follows. It'll be a reverse top 10 of the results of last race. Everyone else outside the 10 will start how they finished in race number 1. Matt Keane will start on pole position alongside Giuliano Sinise, Jay Dixon, Pete Ziedler on the second row of the grid. Thomas Donoghue, Danny Davison on the third. Doug Gowans, David Gallo on the fourth, with Dylan DeBono and Daniel Byrne inside the top 10. Everyone else starts how they finished, including Jason Depp, Callan Hodgkinson. Inside the top 12. That was who made up positions. It was Bartish and Hodgkinson. They both made up a heap of positions, as did Ratcliffe. Ferguson will start pole for the Ems alongside Kane Ryder on the 8th row of the grid. Darren Fahey, Callum Rosenita on the 9th, with Vaughan Ryder and Ben Brook inside the top 20. Tyler Chief, Adrian Loretti will start inside the top 22, with Scott Pocock and Nathan Verney inside the top 24 cars. Kevin Wakefield, Brandon Levin in the top 26, with Tony Baker and Timothy Schmalenberg in the top 28. Nick Schmalenberg and Ocean Colangelo will start inside the top 30, with Keegan Caldwell, Greg Johnston, Nick Martin, Dean Sinkovich, Ray Oliver, Tyson McAvoy for your top 36. With Sam Katakizinas, Mitch Noble, Matt Tesseriero, Matt Gerard for the top 40 cars on the circuit. 40 cars in the circuit tonight, Hutto. Race 2, 40 minutes. I think we're going to be in for an absolute cracker.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see, I guess, the race hopefully open up a little bit more, presuming there's going to be, I guess, not as many safety cars. But look, I think drivers out there are going to have their individual battles, and it won't take them long to catch the next battle pack or have someone drift back to like a pack further back in the field. I think it's going to be an action-packed race for all drivers up and down the ladder. It'll just be where it counts at the point end, which we'll be keeping a close eye on, Hamish.
So it's waiting for lights to go up for race number 2. Matty Keane, of course, has put his SLM car on the front row of the grid after finishing P10 in race number 1. Lights are going up, though. Racing for race 2 of round 6 at VIR coming your way. Who's going to get the jump down towards turn 1? Keane and Sinise on the front row. We are underway once again out of VIR. It was a great start from the majority of the field. Looks like no one's really bogged it up off the start as Keane will lead Sinise and Dixon into turn 1. Ziedler and Davison and Donahue in behind them. And they're just trying to survive on the first lap with those first lap jitters.
Yeah, and the timing tower just not lighting up with red, thank God. But yeah, I guess the driver's just taking it easy, easing into race number 2, Hamish.
Which we can appreciate, Hutto. They're taking a thought from race 1. We've spoken way too early. There's been a massive stack as Keegan Caldwell's been absolutely murdered through the chicane. That was huge. That was massive. Okay, maybe it wasn't Caldwell. Who was it then? It was one of the. It was a green car.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was Caldwell and he somehow
it was Caldwell. He's kept going.
And just kept going. Well, he's got no front wing again. So he's going to be finding, I guess, this section of corners quite a handful before he gets onto that long straight at the back. And, there we go, Caldwell calling in the incident just now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the open exchanges, no one's pulling any punches early on, Hamish.
They're not, as Sinise looks to take the lead from Matt Keane. So the big news, of course, coming into this week was Keegan Caldwell has now signed for Velocity Sim Labs. So it appears that they've replaced Sheafy with Caldwell. Do we think that's a fair swap over, Hutto? Just to put you on the spot to try and absolutely diss either Sheafy or Caldwell?
Yeah, well, I think, Caldwell's doing well. It's probably a good pickup for Velocity Sim Labs, but Sheafy's done very well moving over to VRT as well. So, look, is it a good replacement? Yeah, not too bad. Like for like, it's a fairly good substitute, really.
So this was the moment down at turn 3. That's Scotty Pocock. Oh, he's been tagged by Verney. And that's just caused an absolute pile-up from quite a few drivers, including Brandon Levin. So what's happened with Levin here? Oh, yeah, he's been tagged from behind.
Tagged.
Yep, so he was tagged by Schmalenberg. And then where's Caldwell getting absolutely launched? I think it's this.
Because Caldwell was already missing his front wing.
Yeah, he was. So there's Caldwell. He makes his way through. Oh, yep. That's how he got launched.
Rejoin? Who was that?
That was, I believe, Dean Singer.
And as easy as I like.
As I think Dan Bartish has just had a moment as well, Hutto. So drivers going off quick and fast around here. We may not be too far away from our next safety car across both races. As this is currently the timing tower. Sinise leads to Keane, Dixon, Ziedler, DeBono, Davison, Gallo, Byrne, Donahue and Gown to the top 10. Nick Schmalenberg's having dropout issues further back. This could cause chaos amongst the mid-pack of the field as there's a massive gap already built back to Kevin Wakefield. Although, are we really surprised, Hutto, being that half the cars were kind of trapped with a heap of crashed cars in front of them?
Yeah, possibly a driver's just avoiding action and that gap just opening up. But look, I expect Kevin will probably be able to make up a bit of ground because if there's still, I guess, carnage ahead or, there's drivers just having to check up, drivers might be finding it a little bit easier to go and catch the pack ahead of them tonight.
Matt Keane under pressure now from Jay Dixon inside the top 10. Dixon will be trying to work hard to get this move done as Nick Martin and Mitch Noble have gone off the road. Down onto the entry, onto the front straight of this track. This, I don't think it'll be a safety car.
Noble's in the wall.
Yeah.
Well, could be. Well, Barber's over the radio, so you could see an early safety car, Hamish.
We very well could. Sinise leads. The biggest gainer thus far of this race, I was going to say, was Kane Ryder, but he's all of a sudden dropped spots, so I think he may have had an incident at some point.
I think the honours currently go to Ray Oliver from SLM Motorsport, up 17 positions up to P18 currently, Hamish.
Yes, so this was Ryder's moment that he had. So, what was he doing? So he had Jason Debhead. Oh, it was a self-spin.
He'll be kicking himself after that one.
I wonder if he'll be getting a slap on the wrist for that one. I'll let that one marinate for you, Hutto, till you figure it out. He wasn't quite able to keep it from spinning. His name's Kane.
Yep. Slap on the wrist. Jeez.
Yeah, and Abel meaning Cain and Abel. So.
That's too deep. It's too deep.
His brother, though, Vaughn Ryder, is still rolling around here. Mitch Noble hasn't moved, so I'm going to assume we actually have a safety car at this stage.
Yeah, Sinise just checking up now.
Yeah. And we must give a big shout out as well, because we have got...
Dixon goes in the pit.
He is. You know what? I don't mind it. I do not mind it. Bit of fuel in the car. He'll give up some track position, but he might be on for one hell of a strategy here to take the free pit stop in this race. We've got to give a shout out, though, to our beloved race controller, Greg Barber, who is back in the RC booth tonight after taking a couple of weeks away. It is great to have Barbs back once again, firing on all cylinders and helping control the wild world of SFL RC. So shout out to Barbs. Great to have you back, Barbs. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Hamish. Barb's an absolute linchpin in the SRW community, so yeah, good to have him back on board.
Yeah, it wasn't the same without him. I mean,
well, look at last week. Anyway, moving on.
Sorry, Husey.
Yeah, I guess touching back on fuel strategy and pit strategy, Hamish. Currently, the drivers have got a 50% fuel tank, so that's 23 litres. They'll be using 1.6 litres per lap, roughly. So we could see that, I guess, the tank lasts for about 14 laps or 23 minutes, 22 minutes, really. So Dixon coming in, I guess he's gambling on the fact that there's going to be another safety car. So, there's one in the 20-minute race, the one early on now, so he's probably relying on maybe another one or two to really get him home.
I can appreciate the thought because, as I mentioned, if the 20-minute heat was 5 minutes or 10 minutes longer, I think we were almost guaranteed to have a second safety car, just by some of those incidents that happened after the restart. So I think he's on the right side of history right now to make such a claim that there could be another one or another two that will actually get him home on this fuel level. So I think this is a great play from Dixon. He's got nothing to lose in terms of a championship battle. He's got everything to gain out of this. So this is a great roll of the dice from him. If he was in De Bono, Gallo, or Burns situation, then it's a bigger risk. But if this pays off for Dixon, it'll pay off massively for him.
Well, that's the thing. Like Dixon's a little ways off the championship lead, and he doesn't have anything to lose as such, Hamish. So by him, I guess rolling the dice, it could pay dividends for him, or as he was slammed a couple of seasons ago, it could be a zero IQ move, Hamish.
Well,
we all remember how that went down.
Zero IQ Dixon could return once again. We just need Phil Vella to confirm for us in the chat if he thinks zero IQ Dixon is back. Sean Bonici's in the chat with us as well. He reckons there'll be two more safety cars. I tend to agree with him. I was hesitant. I said at the start of the show, I didn't think there'd be many safety cars, but I didn't take into consideration the fact that if you sniff this car, it breaks. So it kind of makes sense that we could have a lot of safety cars with these cars. If we were here in the supercars or GTs, then I think a lot of these incidents wouldn't have been safety car worthy, but I think it's the fact that these cars do crumble like a ton of bricks whenever you just collide them into the wall.
And that's the thing, as soon as the drivers go onto the grass, it's just a one-way ticket to the fence.
Yeah.
And whilst the fence, as we can see in this shot, is a fair way off the track, the drivers are still making it to the fence. Like they're at high speed and just belting across all that green there. So look, I reckon we're going to see at least one or two more cars possibly park it up on the wall.
Yeah.
But even though it's a whole cricket ground away.
Well, we got to remember as well, these cars are on slicks, so it is literally like driving on ice as soon as they hit the grass. It's different if you're in an 8.6 where you've got grooved tires, you can somewhat pull it back onto the field. These cars it's you mentioned it's a one-way ticket. It's a fast track to disaster. It's a highway to hell, as some famous band would say. for you in the cockpit of this car if you find yourself rocketing off the grass and towards a tyre barrier or towards a metal barrier on the outside of this circuit. And I've just noticed how low poly the simulated viewers' cars are in the background. Oh, that's some peak PS1 graphics from some of the supporters' cars there, but these cars at max detail, they're looking absolutely phenomenal, Hutto. Have you even got a prediction for this race at this point?
Who's going to win? Oh.
Yeah.
Well, Sinise got the job done early, jumped to the lead early on, and I guess they've only exchanged positions, him and Matty Keane. De Bono's already up 6 positions, so he's probably looking like, I guess, an early favourite. But look, you've got to concentrate for 40 minutes. This track, as we're finding, is very unforgiving. I don't want to say De Bono. I'm always going to back an underdog, so I'm going to cheer for Sinise in this one. I backed him last week, didn't get it right, so unfortunately I'll probably put the knocker on Sinise once again.
I'm going to say David Gallo.
Ooh, my early pick for the season. Yeah, I guess he was there and abouts, and I guess Byrne got the job done. He just bided his time, waited for the 3 drivers to finish their squabble, and then went penny pinching through all their pockets and picked up all the loose change. So, look, anyone inside that top 10 is really a good shot right now, Hamish.
Yeah, I mean, down towards the end of the 15, then you get a little bit ropey with who could possibly win, but I do think, Gowans has an opportunity. Donahue, we know, has got some good pace. If he can maximise strategy, he can definitely get up there. We know Byrne and Gallo are capable. We know Davison's capable. We know De Bono's capable. It's Sinise, Keane and Ziedler that are the unknowns for me at this stage. And then Depp at the back end of the top 10. I don't think he's that likely going to win the race. But, yeah, this has really switched it up for us now. I think as well Jordan Ferguson has been involved in something. Oh, no, he's actually disconnected from the server. I've just noticed his timing's gone. So he was leading the AMs, and I think he may have actually dropped you to upload packet loss, possibly, Hutto. So that's now taken him out of the possibilities of winning the AMs round for this evening.
Well, that's a shame, and I guess just looking at the amateurs up and down the field, Tony Baker currently in P1, Greg Johnson in P2, a little ways down the list, but our main players, Keegan Corbell down in P34, Dean Sinkovic in P37, and where's Kevy Wakefield in P28? Kevy Wakefield is chalking up the points once again, so probably not many big movers for the amateurs just now. Still got a lot of racing to be had after this restart, but yeah, we'll see if Keegan can extend his tally at the end of these 40 minutes, Hamish.
So quite a few of those drivers have actually taken a pit stop on that same lap that Dixon did, including Katakazinos, Loretti.
And the safety car's going around again. We're having a third lap under the safety car.
We are. So do they need waiver rounds possibly for Sinker?
Well, I don't think anyone was a lap down, were they? Well, so the 3 drivers that are a lap down, disregarding Jordan Ferguson, are Sinkovic, Martin, and Noble.
Noble wouldn't get it because the safety car. I think
correct,
Martin
so would
was
Martin
a part
as
of the.
well.
Yeah, so it'd only be Dean that would get it.
So, but Dean's where is he? He's.
Oh yes, sorry,
No.
I completely forgot. We need to show off what actually happened. Well, we have an extra lap, so we can show up what happened with Noble and Martin. Let's have a look here. What has happened to them? Oh no, that was him pulling out of pit lane. So there was Kane Ryder. Okay, we'll find this and we'll see what's happened to them. So Noble, here we go. This will be it here. I'm pretty sure. Yep, indeedy. So Martin caught curb. Noble's carried a lot of speed. Ooh.
Like we said, Hamish, a lot of speed, just takes a little tap. They hit that grass, and they're off to the fence for 4 runs.
That looked like a racing incident to me, Hutto. Personally, I think, yeah, he just caught curb.
I think,
yeah.
I think Martin actually might have checked up because of the car in front, because I saw a bit of a bobble from that yellow car there. So, who's off in the weeds now? Who's taking a bit of excursion?
Why is Brandon Levin becoming groundskeeper Willie?
Probably trying to get a
Has he
new
broken
sponsor in
his
Jim's
car?
Mowing, perhaps. Geez, he's going slow, real slow. Like, he's a huge gap in front of him.
Did he blow the engine?
Still chugging along in 5th.
Yeah.
That's strange, Hamish. It's strange.
Oh, he's got no drive. I think his rear wheels are broken.
That's weird.
So I
That's really weird, Hamish.
I reckon there's been a checkup and someone's hit him.
Well, I guess we'll leave race control to sort that one out as we hopefully get underway at the end of this lap. Hamish, looks like the safety cars are starting to pull away.
Yep, so we should be going green at the end of this lap, barring a massive stack amongst the whole field. Your broken rear left. I think it might have been. I reckon he's been rear-ended into turn 1, and that's what's broken his car. So he's had to tow back to pit lane. We'll see if RC can find what's happened to him. If they do find out what's happened to him, if they could let us know, that'd be good. So then we can update all of you guys and show off what has happened to him in the span of this safety car period as well. Sinise, though, is going to lead the way to Keane, De Bono, Ziedler for the top 4. Davison, Gallo, Byrne, Donahue, Gowans, and Depp inside the 10. Sinise's gone early, and he's caught out Keane just slightly off the restart as we are underway once again, and De Bono is hot on the heels of Matty Keane. Keane pulls out, is going to let De Bono pass, possibly into turn 1. Smart play from Keane. Let the pro go and battle your battle with Ziedler in behind. And De Bono now looks to chase down Sinise for the lead of this race here on lap 7. And we are 16 minutes into proceedings.
Bono making that look very, very easy on the restart. Very alert to what was going on in front of him. Fantastic by De Bono.
He's done very well off the restart. Has both De Bono and Sinise. So the battle for the top end of town is on. Ray Oliver's had a moment in the background down at the chicane. He's off the road in the SLM car. Pete Ziedler is dropping spots as well. For whatever reason, Pete has a DFR. Spec map on his car. He's going wheel to wheel with David Gallo. Oh, how have they...
It's a blue livery with little porky pigs all over the side plates.
On my end, though, somehow it has a DFR spec map on it. I don't know how this has happened. That's weird. But he somehow held the position against Gallo. De
Bono's hit the lead.
Here it is, side by side with Sinise. Up at the end of the back straight. Sinise is going to try and hold him off as best he can.
Well, you just bide your time if you're De Bono. Like your competitors are, sitting P5, P7, P8, so, or even P4, sorry, with Davison. So he'd just be biding his time, picking his moment. He'll probably try and get the job done now into turn 1. Look, De Bono will be hoping to now check out. We've seen him do this a few times, Hamish, where he'll hit the lead, he'll go and get that gap, but unfortunately he's been brought back.
There's been net code between them! That was a massive net code, Hutto. That's now dropping De Bono down the order. All the work left to do for him now with 22 and 10 seconds left to run in the race. That's now put him down behind Ben Brook.
Well, if he goes in the pits now, he'll have enough fuel to make it to the end of the race without a doubt. But yeah, very, very unfortunate for De Bono there.
So that looked like a big net code between them when we kind of saw it as Keane now leads. This is what happened though with Sinise and De Bono on board with Sinise. Then that was already him off the track, so we need the better angle of it. This is the better angle. So on board with Sinise. So there's De Bono. He's going to try and tuck it back up the inside. He wasn't alongside before turning. Even though there's net code, that might be pinged on Sinise there.
Oh, it's a close one, but if it was net code, we've been experiencing a lot of net code issues recently, which is really a bit of a shame because it puts an end to some very good racing out on track, Hamish.
It does, but it really spices up what could happen in this one. Keane now leads, but he's got the fast approaching Davison in behind him. Gallo's now P3 on the road as well. Ziedler, Byrne and Donahue, they're in the top 6. So we've got so many battles happening out on track. De Bono brings it into pit lane to get his car fixed up. but the chase down is going to be monumental over the final 20 minutes of this race.
Bono's going to really need a safety car to come out now to have any hope of regaining any spots, unless he can pull off a miracle, get back out there and just charge his way up the ladder, Hamish.
Matt Tessariero, the AM champion of Season 3, finds himself off the road down there.
And Ray Oliver's just pulled up, I think, off to the
Ray?
side.
Oh, my God. Ask and you shall receive, Hutto. This could be a safety car. That's a massive, massive amount of damage on Ray Oliver's car. He's been allowed to tow back, so it's no safety car for the moment. As I believe Jordan Ferguson is back out on track and back in the system. Oh, there's Sinise again. What's that? Oh, he's just sent it.
Oh, bang.
Yep. So Ray just sent it on the inside, and he's caught a lot of curb off that. He is now back in pit lane, so... As Jay Dixon, what's happened to him? He's had a massive off-track. This will not help his case for taking an early pit stop in this race this evening. Ben Brook now battling with Kane Ryder down the back straight as well.
How much does that hurt if you take the off-track at the end of Oak Tree there? Because now you've got that long straight, and any driver that's lining you up has just got you with your pants down. Like it's just, it's probably one of the worst spots to have an off-track. Yeah, on that corner exit, Hamish.
Yeah, I mean, it is, because if you cop the slowdown, it's a massive loss, because you're having to serve it off the racing line. You can serve it all the way down towards turn 1, but it is a real struggle bug for a lot of drivers out there. Kane Ryder has just set the fastest lap of the race, Hutto, a 1:39.05. Dylan De Bono has come out in P29, but crucially, he has clear track ahead. So now it's going to be head down, bum out, and push on to try and make up any positions that he can. As I believe Matty Gerard's gone off the road. Where is he? There he is there. So we haven't seen him all too much this season. He's managed to get it going once again, but it is really plaguing the drivers tonight. Could it possibly be the tyre wear?
Well, I think it's probably a little bit too early to say it's tyre wear, Hamish. Like, they've been under safety car for several minutes and probably only recorded maybe, 6 or 7 laps of actual racing. So, look, I think it's a bit early to say tyre wear, but we might see that, tyre wear rear its head towards that 30-minute mark, Hamish.
Very well could. I wonder if
saying
anyone's
that,
going to take tyres.
I don't think that it's going to be really that hard on tyres, because how many I guess there are high-speed corners, but nothing with the likes of, say, Catalunya.
Yeah, high speed, off camber, and I don't know what it is. This track just loves killing tyres. Look at how Davison is attacking those curbs down the hill. He is pushing to the absolute maximum at the moment to build this gap over the likes of Keane, Gallo, and Byrne. We've got Ziedler, Donahue, Depp, Gowans, Rosanita inside the top 10. Let's look a bit further back, as Rosanita is under pressure right now from Darren Fahey. So this battle is on between them. All focus from Rosanita. Hodgkinson's dropped a couple of spots out of all this as well. Somehow Cal has remained in position and has remained in the lead of this little battle pack at this stage in P9.
Yeah, and I guess it's good to see the Pro-Ams really starting to mix it in the top 10, or even into the top 12, making up 6 positions there. I guess the Pro-Am Championship, other than Matty Keane and Peter Zeidler, if those two weren't in it, it'd be quite tightly contested, Hamish.
Yeah. I wonder now how Kane Ryder's going to go in this race, because he's got some wicked pace at the moment, but he's having to really force his way through some battle packs, and this is an unknown for us to see how he works it out through some battle packs. Now, we saw him battling with De Bono wheel to wheel, and he looked very, very skatey and audacious in some of the moves he was going for on De Bono. If he goes from on some of these drivers, though, I very well think it could cause an accident if he overpushes this car.
I was just about to say essentially the exact same thing. Like, the amount of trust you put in the driver next year is not saying you don't trust these drivers. It's just the skill level may run out.
I honestly think De Bono, Davison, Gallo, and Byrne probably the only drivers at the top end of the field who could have gone wheel to wheel with Ryder at that point. And if he tries to do it with any of these drivers, it's going to end poorly. But he's brought it in early, as is his brother Vaughan. So they're actually going to try and undercut this battle pack. I think that's probably the smartest play from him at this stage. Just try and get out of this battle pack. Don't push too hard to race through these cars, because even though some of these guys are pros, they're not, like, you know, De Bono, Gallo, Byrne, Davison, they're a pro plus driver. Like, they are literally top end of the championship, will never drop out of pro unless somehow the skill level just maximizes up to genuine pro 10k I rating level.
Look where they've come out, Hamish, like right in front. They're in and around Dylan De Bono. So now we've got this little battle pack of pros, and that really hampers De Bono's race, because he would have been looking to just make up ground and get onto the back of the AMs and clear those AMs. But now he's got 2 pros either side, so that's really going to halter his progress, Hamish.
Vaughan Ryder's stop was 1.8 seconds.
That's quick. Did he take any fuel?
Surely not enough
Stop
to
and
get
go.
home.
Oh, who knows? Maybe he's a fuel strategist, used to work for Ferrari. Who knows?
I don't know. As David Gallo's now taking the spot from Matt Keane up the top end of town, but De Bono's trying to fight his way through the lap traffic of Kevin Wakefield. I feel Kevin should probably, he's smart enough probably just to let him go.
I think he will, but they'll just have to wait until the straight. But Dylan would have loved to get past him a little bit sooner, because Vaughan's going to go. Kane is now just going to blow past Johnson, we think, at the end of the straight here.
Where is John? There he is there. So there's actually, have they got lap
very
traffic
similar.
with them?
Yes. Who else is
Ray Oliver. So lap traffic of Ray Oliver.
Yeah, those liveries are very, very similar, Hamish.
They are. They are indeed. When I first saw Ray in the session, I thought, oh, is he part of that team? But no, he's part of SLM. He just hasn't raced just yet. So De Bono has got work to do. He's had to let Vaughan Ryder past him at the end of the straight. Might just tuck in on the back of him now. Let him pull him ahead a little bit. But this is a wild play from Vaughan to go 1.88 seconds in the stop. I don't think he's going to be able to make it home from this point, if I'm honest. On 1.88 seconds of fuel, that is barely anything. So that's an audacious play.
Yeah, I think the smartest thing for De Bono right now is, whilst he's not in direct competition with De Bono, is probably work with Vaughan to charge up the ladder. Like, it's beneficial for the both of them. You know, Vaughan's got pace and De Bono needs to get to the pointy end. So why not, I guess, work together to try and clear these outliers and back markers and take advantage of the pace and take any points you can, Hamish.
Well, I think that's what likely both the Carlins boys are now going to do, of Gallo and Byrne. Now they've gotten past Keane, they'll try and work together to chase down Davison at the front end of the field. A bit further back, we've still got a battle heating up with Roseneder and Ratcliffe. Oh, Ratcliffe trying to tuck up the inside. A little bit of a lock-up there from Roseneder, just having to let him go. They've got Hodgkinson in behind them at this stage as well. Further back, Tesseriera under pressure from the misaligned delivery of Tyson McAvoy. Good job, Tyson. But he's up 16 spots in this race, so he's done well. As is Tesseriera, he's up 20. Gerard's up 19. Catakazinas is not up 19 as well. But I believe these guys are about to stop. But Tesseriera hasn't, so he will drop past these guys when he comes into the lane, as has Pete Ziedler, who's now come into the lane out of the top 10. So that's how much of a gain Jay Dixon has already had. Now, if you recall, he came in P2. So we expect him probably to end up around the top 5 once the pit stops have happened.
Look at all that free space Dixon's got now. You know, that 5-second gap back to Benjamin Brook. He'll be hoping that the Pro-Ams just in front of Brook will just halter his progress. Oh! De Bono and Ryder.
What
At
has
this point in
happened
time,
there?
Hamish, you just shake your head, don't you?
Wait, so what's happened? So I've
Oh,
always
he's
just
just
gone
washed
across
wide.
him.
Yeah.
Well, what's De Bono going to do there?
Well, he's got nowhere to go, and that's really, I think there'll probably be steam coming out of De Bono's ears right now.
Oh, I would expect there would be. I mean, you'd be seething at the moment from that. But regardless, race still continues on. Catakazinas has now got Tesseriera hot on his heels, and a rivalry was born. It's an immediate rivalry between Velocity Simlabs and Max Boosters. Danny Davidson's now come in the lane, as has Jason Depp. So we are well and truly into pit stop period territory. as Rosanita's also into the lane as well. So this has now released the Carlins drivers into the top 2 positions at this stage as they continue to push on and on further up the order.
So, what was the timestamp when we went racing again, Hamish? Was it... Because if a tank only lasts 23 minutes, Dixon's going to have to fuel save like crazy in these late exchanges.
Yeah, he will. He will. I'm not sure. I think it was maybe...
Would have been lap 7 or something like that?
Yeah, lap 7. De Bono came in on 8, so that was... So lap 7 was probably the lap that he had his incident.
Well, that's the thing. If it was like lap 7, the timestamp has to be the 17 minutes or 18 minutes before they
It
went
was.
green.
It was right. It was probably about 17 minutes. So it's going to be right on the edge for Dixon.
But don't forget, they're still circulating the track very slowly, and that's chewing up a little bit of fuel. So it's going to be a race against the clock, I think, for Jay Dixon here.
Quite possibly could. Although some drivers who've come in as of lap 14 or 17, they've done a very similar stop to what Dixon did, around about 4 seconds. So he might be in the clear thanks to the safety car. I mean, we just don't know at this point. It's up in the air. We've got 10 minutes left to go, or just under 10 minutes. Andrew Rush was saying the short stop, that short of a stop is probably hoping for another safety car to save fuel to get home, maybe. I'm sorry, if Vaughan's done that, that is the biggest misplay I think I've ever seen in this series. I mean, you can never rely on another safety car for yourself to get home at this point in the race. You just take the fuel you need to get home.
Then why pit at all? If it's 1.8 seconds of fuel you're taking, which is minimal, why pit at all? But I guess, we'll see. But it probably doesn't help his case that he also had that tangle with De Bono. So any sort of plan of getting back towards the top's probably well and truly out the window now, Hamish.
Oh, I would agree. Andrew Rush was saying 15:50 was the mark for the restart, Hutto. So they've gone about.
I think it's
gone about 15 minutes. Yeah,
it's marginally too long. There'll have to be another safety car. And as we edge closer and closer to the 35-minute mark, when I guess safety cars cease to exist after that point, it makes it so much harder for Jay Dixon. So Dixon will be praying for, well, not so much rain, but another safety car in these next 3 minutes, Hamish.
He will. But the driver that this now really benefits is Daniel Byrne, because he leads the championship after last week. De Bono needed to get back, to full form, winning races this week. Now, to no fault of his own that we've seen, he has been taken out in both, or he's been involved in an incident in both races. One of them was a racing incident. This race, I think you could probably, it's either a racing incident or it's a pin-on Vaughan rider.
Also that netcode incident or the incident with Sinise being unfortunate. Both Carlins are in now.
They are too. And Matt Keane stayed out for another lap. So he's pushing on as majority of the field is coming in. So to no fault of De Bono, at this stage, we can pretty confidently say on a single look. Now, if we look at it again, we might say, oh, yeah, he had some part to play. It's almost like the momentum swinging against him now in this championship battle. He had a mega start. It's halted. It swung the way of Byrne. And these sorts of back and forths in this series, no matter how strong De Bono was at the start of the season, a momentum swing like this can lose someone a championship. Now,
it would hurt the confidence as well.
It would. And we both, I'm not going to speak for Hutto, but I hope that this doesn't hurt De Bono's ego, or not necessarily ego, but his confidence this season. I mean, he's just at the fast lap of the race. So his confidence is not really gone just yet. But with 3 rounds to go after this is going to be a fight back. And De Bono needs to get back in form at this stage to try and win the championship. As Gowans is off the road with massive damage. This could be a safety car, Hutto, and it could be the safety car that Jay Dixon needs to get home.
Let's see what's Dougie's
done. Oh my God!
Oh, who come in flying then?
That's Scott Pocock.
That's a Porky's machine. Because I did see Scott Pocock move to the pits and saw this, red box fly down our timing tower. So that's odd.
Oh, that's a mechanical failure. I reckon his throttle's stuck into that corner and Dougie's just been an innocent bystander.
Oh, Poor Dougie, and in the motion rig. I wonder if he would have felt that shunt or not. We'll have to.
Well, he's back in the
possibly
lane,
reach
so
out and ask him.
it's no safety car at this stage, we believe. Matt Keane is in. Dixon is going to take the lead of the race, but it's up in the air whether he can get home on his fuel.
With what, 5 minutes left? It's going to be tight, but yeah, Dixon would have been sweating on a safety car just then.
He would. I mean, he would be so hopeful. We are etching closer, though, to the point of no return where there wouldn't be a safety car called. And Dixon, well, he could either win this race in an absolute miracle or he could lose it in the most unfortunate roll of the dice in history that we've seen thus far. He leads the way. Davison is P2. That could be corrected lead, though. Katakazinis is in the same boat as Dixon. He came in on lap 3. So we suspect that if Dixon has to come in, Katakazinis will have to come in, and that'll correct the Carlins boys onto the podium.
We'll also see as we look down the 10, Matthew Gerard pitted on lap 3, Tyson McAvoy pitted on lap 3, and just outside the top 10, Adrian Loretti also pitting on lap 3. So keep an eye on those drivers, and if any of them have to pit early or they balk early to take that little bit extra fuel, there might be an early indication as to what's coming at the end of this race, Hamish.
Loretti is fuel saving like mad. He's just let Kane Ryder and Jason Depp take him for a lunch date on that one. Russia is saying, I still think Davison has a shot at the win. I do too. I don't think Dixon has this in the bag at this point now because his fuel load is so up in the air. He has to.
Yeah.
He had to kind of rely on another safety car to get it home.
Dixon's fuel saving. Like he's on a straight and he's hemorrhaging time to Danny Davison. It's just dropped by about 4/10 as we've been speaking. So Dixon in full fuel saving mode, and Davison just clawing back that time. So I think we can see Davison in the striking range probably within the end of this lap, Hamish.
Very well, we very well could. If not by the end of this lap, definitely by the back straight of the next. For sure, he'll be right there. Now, just back to Dylan DeBono for a second. He's come back to P19 at this stage, although he will be pushing on to try and get by Ben Brook and Ocean Colangelo, as well as Callan Hodgkinson, but he has got his work cut out for him trying to get past these drivers at this stage. So he is in the wars, is Dylan DeBono. And we hope this does not take him out of the championship fight. We hope he can get back to form next week and really start to spice things up in terms of this championship. Jay Dixon, though, leads the way in this race. What's the fuel saving like down the back straight? Well, he's holding the gears out long. He's not necessarily short shifting, Hutto.
He's still hemorrhaging time. We've seen that timer come down from a 3-second lead over the start-finish line till now a 1.8. So, look, how many more laps we got in this? It's coming down to the 2.5 minutes. What's that? Yeah, there's 2 laps in it then. That's it, 2 laps. So Dixon's holding out for 2 more laps, Hamish.
This is going to be as tight as it has ever been for Jay Dixon. He's having to come in the pit lane. Wow.
That hurts. Well, we'll have to see if Katakazinos is in,
which means
Gerard is in.
Which means McAvoy's going to have to come. Oh, he stayed out. McAvoy is rolling the dice with the fuel. So this now puts Danny Davison in the lead of the race. David Gallo, Daniel Byrne on the podium.
And Loretti dropping spots now as he's still fuel saving, as I can't quite see if he's just gone into the pit or not. He's staying out.
So he's also risking it. His teammate Dixon's actually just come at him behind him as well. This pretty much confirms to me that Vaughan Ryder cannot make it home on 1.88 seconds of fuel. I mean, I'm sorry. I just cannot see it happening.
Yeah, if he does, teach me your ways, Vaughan. But yeah, Davison now with a commanding 3.4 second lead. I think it's a little bit too far for the Carlins boys of Gallo and Byrne to go down and catch him now.
Yeah, and as said previously by Phil Vella across the past couple of weeks, Davison wins these 9 times out of 10. He does not give up a win like this. And these sorts of races where DeBono drops down the order and Davison gains point on the Carlins boys, this could really bring him back into this championship battle, Hutto. I mean, he's not necessarily out of it, but this gives him more and more of a lifeline the more and more that races end up like this towards the end of the season.
Well, we've seen time and time again that the championships come down to the very last round, and as we saw last season, it was a 5-horse race in the final race. So, look, anything's a possibility right now, Hamish, but yeah, a gambling man would say that it's going to be a tight 4-way tussle between Davison, Gallo, Byrne and De Bono come series end.
So 1 lap left to run. There's been a massive stack at the end of the back straight. Thomas Donohue's been involved. I believe Jason Depp is off the road. McAvoy's had to come into pit lane. We knew he wouldn't be able to make it to the end. What has happened with some of these drivers, though? I think Darren Fahey's been involved. Oh, my God. So Donohue was going slow, and then Fahey's just somehow, he's been like Moses. He's just spread the waters and found his way through somehow.
Very fortunate there for Faye. As we very close to the line there for that VRT driver. As we're on board with Davison lapping up the, I guess, the rewards of a nice clean race and a bit of consistency, Hamish.
Yep, it's worked out for him. He's up 5 spots. Byrne is up 8. Gallo's up 5 as well. I think Gallo's let him go because he knows that Byrne is leading the championship. Doesn't want to take away the 4 points that he would by finishing ahead of Daniel Byrne. Matt Keane, Pete Ziedler, they're inside the top 5 still. Matty Keane's had a great run tonight. He will take home a second round win for the Pro-Ams if he manages to hold this out. Nick Schmalenberg is trying to hold on to his class win in P19. Big gap, though, back to Kevin Wakefield. And this is great for Wakefield's championship hopes, Hutto, because Caldwell is out of this race. Or he's not out of this race, sorry, but he's back in P39, laps down, dropping time to Wakefield as Davison has done it in a dominant comeback. He takes another win this season as the only privateer at the top end of town. Byrne and Gallo, they'll make another Carlin's double podium. Matty Keane's going to come home P1 for the Pro-Ams. And Nick Schmalenberg tentatively nursing his car back to the line. Looks like he's going to be taking out a round win for the amateurs. And I didn't know you got Coca-Cola as a sponsorship, Hutto.
Yeah, sneaky little sponsorship that's come on board just recently. But yeah, Schmalenberg just hemorrhaging spots there. He must be fuel saving all the way to the line. It's going to be a little bit closer than what we thought, Hamish.
He came in on lap 4.
That goes around the outside.
I think he's actually run out of fuel. He's run out of fuel at this stage. Where's Wakefield?
Is he going to make?
He's too far away. He's got it.
The line's all the way up the other. Oh, is he going to make it?
Is he going to make it? Where is Kevin Wakefield in the wildest end to this race? He's on the start button, trying to get it to the line. Nick Schmalenberg in the slowest win ever. We thought it happened last week when Sinker won in the pit lane. He has taken the win for the Ams, but he's run out of fuel on the run home.
How about that for finishers in the amateurs? 2 weeks in a row now, with Sinkovic coming through the pits, but unfortunately copping a black flag and a 55-second penalty. And then Schmalenberg running out of fuel as he's crossing the line. Heart and mouth stuff, Hamish.
It honestly is. So the big thing that I was talking about before we were coming up to the line with Davison is Wakefield has taken a massive amount of points over Keegan Caldwell. Now, Caldwell, he was supposed to have a rear of grid tonight. He didn't have it, but he has got a round band next week.
That's even more points, Hamish. This is the best outcome for
Kevin Wakefield. He's gained 44 points over Keegan Caldwell.
And I think he beat him in the previous race as well, seeing as Kevy finished, P25 in the last race, and Caldwell finished P31. So he'll pick up more points again. There was still quite a gap between Caldwell and Wakefield. I think it was in the triple digits. It was 143 points. So if he's clawed back 40 of those, and then if he goes on and gains 100 more points next week, or 80 points or something like that, all of a sudden, this championship's all right back on, and it's round 8. So look, it's not over just yet, Hamish.
It isn't indeed. So it is all on for the end of this season. The battle for the championship, all the championships. It's on for young and old, Hutto. And we put our predictions in at the start of the season. Well, I said it was going to be De Bono from round 1. You said it was going to be De Bono from round 2.
Mm-hmm.
But
who's it looking like at the moment?
Predict it.
The momentum's with Daniel Byrne right now. He's just. But that's the thing. is this series a momentum game? Like, does early points mean you win the championship? No, it's consistency, as we've seen time and time again, who wins that championship. We saw Dave Roberts come out of nowhere to claim the Season 2 championship in a three-way tussle between David Gallo, Dave Byrne, and Dylan De Bono. So, look, it's not that it's early days. We are midway through this season. We're starting to find who are the pretenders and the contenders, and everyone who we thought we were, a sure thing or a contender, and now, I guess those are having a few question marks over the top, Hamish.
Yep, question marks are being raised, and they're not necessarily being answered at this stage as well, but we've got our AM winner in the green room, Nick Schmalenberg. We'll drag him in for a quick chat. Nick Schmalenberg of JWM Motorsports, a win under your belt for the AMs this season, possibly the round win as well. Do you recall where you finished in your class for race 1?
I think 4th from memory in round 1. Kevin Wakefield was in front of me in round 1, so he might have taken it being 2nd.
Oh, yes, quite possibly. Oh, well, still, a good chunk of points for your championship here tonight. And a big gain over the championship leader, Keegan Caldwell, who finished at the back end of the field in P38. Plus, he has a round band hanging over his head, which he cannot drop. So another opportunity next week for you guys to gain some points on him as well. Are you feeling some momentum shift back your way a little bit now? I mean, we saw you caught in the wars a little bit tonight, and the fact that you ran out of fuel on the line. But you managed to somehow pull it off, and a quality class win at that through a much more chaotic race than what I thought we were going to have at this circuit, I'll be honest. I looked at VIR and I thought, might be in for a bit of a boring one. This track delivered for, I think, the first time ever when I've called a race here.
Yeah, the race was crazy. I was just minding my own business and was doing pretty well, and then got rear-ended, which just snapped the rear axle straight out in that second race. So that sucked. So I took the opportunity to fill up and then in the pit stop do a second run through under safety car, hoping that'd get me to the end. And well, it didn't, but I held on. It turned the car off just as you came onto the front straight, so I'm surprised it rolled all the way over. So it was, let's go with well judged, but probably minus 0.1, 0.2 really.
Probably slightly lucky as well, the fact that the run down to the line is downhill.
Yeah, I was just hoping I got up over the hill and around before the last sort of 3-4 corner complex, and then try not to get crashed because I was obviously going so slow. I had a few near misses where people just flew past me. I tried to keep off the racing line but not go too far away where it wouldn't continue to roll. So it's good to get the second race this season.
Yeah, good effort, Nick. Brad Hudson here, and I guess how was the race in terms of how did it play out for you? Like you said, you went into the pits early. Did you come out into space and you just managed to get yourself into a rhythm, or were you finding you were in a battle pack, or was it more or less just traffic avoidance with cars flying left, right, and centre throughout the race?
Yeah, definitely no clear space because like I said, I got taken out from behind, so I had to limp back to the pits, and so while I was in there, I also got a 40-second penalty because I got yeeted into so it called me a track cut. So that sucked, but then the safety guy got called, so I went straight back onto the train and then ran in for another pit stop and considered a third just to make sure I got over the line, and opted against it, and was able to save just enough fuel to keep myself in the win with a chance, which was great. The race itself was pretty good once you could get in a rhythm. It took a few laps on cold tyres, I'd say.
Yeah, I guess, great to hear. And I guess one eye on the championship as well, but another eye on the Australian Open Wheel Nationals. Have your hopes to make that one? I think you're a little ways away, but with, I guess, a few more points over competitors who have had several spills tonight, you must be, I guess, favouring your chances now, Nick.
Look, for sure it'd be great. I'd love to have a go, but if I'm being realistic, I don't think I'm really in with a shot in the championship or that. But who knows? More can happen. I missed round 1, so that's my drop round. So the points I have are the points I've got. And I've had I think my round 2 was, I was last, so I got not many points there either. So lucky I got 2 race wins so far, so that's going to help. And I nearly got a third last week, but had a bit of an off track and threw it away. But it's good. Hopefully I can storm home strong, but every time I say that, I tend to have a bad race next.
Well, as we've seen time and time again, and Hamish and I have spoken about, it's all about consistency, Nick. So you don't have to win, I guess, every week, but they definitely do help. But yeah, if you can be there and abouts in the top 3 in the amateurs, you'll be right there at the pointy end of the season.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to put it down to the lucky new livery. They got me over the line tonight. It looks great.
Were you sipping on a ice cold Coca-Cola as you crossed the line as well?
I wasn't, but I definitely might do some Coke champagnes or something to celebrate.
Well, mate, let us know. Helps get you and JWM Sim Sport out on track. Anyone else you wish to give a shout out to as well? For myself, Hutto, and the rest of the league, congratulations on your class win here in the feature race out at Virginia International Raceway.
Yeah, thanks guys. Thanks to SRW and you guys do a great job every week, and race control. They did a great job tonight. I'd like to thank Brewed Coffee, TW Engineering, Tough Customs, TCI Engineering, Newlawn. Thanks to the JWM crew for having me and Tim. Up the Schmelling Bombers. Thanks Wade for this sweet livery. It looks amazing. Hopefully we can get some more wins for you. And if Tim's watching on YouTube, I'll see you at work tomorrow.
All right, mate. Thank you so much for coming to have a chat to us. Best of luck next week out at Watkins Glen. We look forward to seeing how you go.
Thanks, boys. See you later.
See you, mate.
Right.
All right, let's drag in our P1 for the Pro-Ams, Mr. Matty Keane. Mr. Keane, this week you made up for what you couldn't do last week. You got inside the top 10 in race 1. In fact, you got P10 in race 1, got the pole for race 2. You took the Pro-Am win in race 1. And then you took it again in race 2, once again, winning the round for yourself for a second week in a row. And you have got one hand on this championship trophy at this point. You are really controlling the field in the Pro-Ams, mate. Are all cylinders just firing perfectly for you at this stage? I mean, are you really gelling with the car? Because it seems like you are out on track.
Yeah, thanks, Hamo. I'm still trying to find a little bit more pace, but I've gelled with it enough that I can stay consistent every lap and just keep edging away, getting a little bit of a half a tenth here, half a tenth there, and just learning off the pro boys that I'm sitting behind. So just sticking with the consistency and the clean helps me, and it seems to be working week in, week out lately.
Yeah, fantastic, Matt. And I guess, yeah, just watching a bit of your replay there, very close to the curbs out there tonight. Were there any corners that you had to really keep your eye on and really tiptoe along that white line, or be mindful of not going too far over that white line?
Yeah, I had a little issue with the final corner. I just did not trust the front end with the understeer going flat through there like a lot of the other boys did. So I was using a lot of the inside curb going in through that last corner, but I still wasn't 100% confident, especially when just where the position I was in, I didn't have to try and take all of what I could get. So yeah, the last corner was a little bit iffy, which made it hard going down into turn 1 to try and defend, but it wasn't too much of an issue when I was not fighting anyone too harshly.
Very good. And speaking of fighting with people, I guess your sparring partner, Pete Zeidler, you've got the win over him once again. You guys seem to be trading blows week in, week out. I guess it's fantastic to watch here at SRW. Other than the, I guess, the Pro-Am Championship, you're sitting 5th overall before this round. You must be, I guess, quite excited, or you're in a very good spot for the Australian Open Wheel Nationals at the end of this season, Matt.
Yeah, I've looked at it, and I'm looking at it as I'm going to keep just learning over this season, and when I go into that, I'll stick with the same thing, an hour-long race. Just consistency is key. Keep it clean. If you can do that, we seem to be able to keep floating our way around the top 5 a lot of the time.
Yeah, fantastic. And it was good to see you had a side gunner in Ray Oliver, who made his debut, or appeared for the first time this season. I guess how did he find his first race? If you've had a quick chat to him at all.
Yeah, it's good to have him back. He works in the mines, so he can't do it too often, but he's back home for a bit now, so he can do a couple of races with me. But he likes driving the car. He normally drives the F4 though, and it's a bit different. He's learning, but he's got decent pace, so he can push me and help me along with certain things that I'm struggling with. But he made a mistake and ended up back with the pack, and he realised how hectic it can get back there.
Well, Matty, you've done everything you needed to so far over the past couple of weeks just to avoid some of that mid-pack chaos and controversy. Kept your races clean and consistent as well, and that's what's leading you the championship at this stage. But let us know who helps get you and SLM Motorsport out on track. Anyone else you wish to give a shout-out to as well, and for myself and Hutto and the rest of the league, congratulations on your Pro-Am class win once again here for the second week in a row out of Virginia International Raceway.
Yeah, thanks, boys. Yeah, I'd like to firstly thank Dougie for getting me back into SRW and the leagues and pushing me since some health issues. I'd love to thank the SLM boys for supporting me because they're in the chat the whole time. And if you're looking for some sim racing apparel, Suit Speed keeps us on the track and keeps us going. They're the best sim racing apparel out. If you're looking for some gloves, use the code SLM on their website and you can get a 10% discount.
Mate, an absolute pleasure as always. Best of luck next week out at Watkins Glen. We look forward to seeing how you go. Thanks so much for coming over to chat to us post-race.
Thanks, boys. Appreciate and love your work.
Thanks, mate.
Good night.
All right, Hutto, we now get to talk to, once again, the doubled up duo. And I've already got it preset from last time this happened. David Gallo and Daniel Byrne in yet another a double podium for you boys in the Carlins crew at Carlins Motorsport. And Daniel, you've gained some good points over Dylan DeBona the last couple of weeks, but he did make a solid comeback after his moment early in the race, Hutto. He got all the way back to P12. So, Daniel, you did gain 40 points on him in this championship, but your work's not over yet with some of those Team Max Boost cars up the front end of town.
Yeah, those guys look pretty quick as well. So, and I was saying at the start of the race, top 25 cars were within 1 second. So it's you just need to make one small mistake, and you're mid pack or at the back of the pack, and that can be it for the race. So it's very, very close at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah, another fantastic effort tonight to both of you gentlemen. I guess, how early on was it apparent that tonight was going to be more of a survival race and keeping it clean?
Well, we kind of knew that it was. There's a lot of strategy to racing here. So first race, I was very happy to sit behind the guys that were battling at the front, because I knew I just had to keep within half a second or 0.6, and I'd have a toe and it was always going to drag me back in. So it worked out well. Last lap, I was able to get myself in the position I wanted and got past DeBona down the back straight and took the race win. So I was pretty happy with that. But I feel it's more strategy here. We're actually able to get through it without any incident points as well. So yeah, just keeping it clean and not making the moves when they're not necessary, I think was the key tonight.
Yeah, if only you could pass that on to, I guess, the rest of the field or a few others that would have benefited from that advice. And I guess, yeah, David, you had a quieter race. Your teammates taking the spoils as such. You must be, I guess, yeah, very proud and spurning him on, whatever. But I guess, yeah, you were just there waiting in the wings. Yeah, how was your race? Having to just, I guess, yeah, watch much like what Daniel said, of everything unfold in front of you.
Yeah, evening, gents. Yeah, much like Daniel, so I suppose. Just I was happy to sort of sit back and watch the guys battle up front, because I knew it was going to be tricky, and I didn't want to get involved in the tow train, I think, at points. So, yeah, a couple of guys fell off, and we sort of ended up in the top 3 for the first race, and pretty happy with race 2 as well. So, it was just keeping it clean and consistent, and no really sort of desperate moves. I think we just sort of played it one by one, I think. So, but come out to plan. Would agree the strategy.
Yeah, very good. And I guess for both you again, what does the next 3 weeks look like? Look, we're going to Watkins Glen, Jerez, and then finish off in Daytona. What's the game plan, if you don't mind me asking, from here on in?
Just win each round. No.
Easy.
Yeah, no, I think consistency and try qualify up the top. There's
And keeping it clean, I think it's really important. Keep it clean, especially some of the guys are accumulating some points and you know, getting rear of grid penalties and stuff like that. So I think you don't want one of them near the end of the season. So yeah, just keeping it clean, consistent. I think that's our plan basically.
Well, you guys are both in contention for this championship at this stage. Your gap has gotten even smaller now to Dylan De Bono after drop rounds. You are both well in contention. David, you have an opportunity to do something that I don't think we've ever seen in SRW. You have the opportunity to win 4 separate championships in 1 year, including one of them being the F1 Shadow Series. You currently lead that series by 270 points with 3 rounds left to run in that. And you're in with a chance of winning your 3rd title of the regular season in 2024, which undoubtedly, we already have at the top of our list, but undoubtedly would make you the best driver of 2024, I think, across all of SRW. How much is that playing on your mind just quickly leading into the final 3 rounds, or is it just do whatever you do every week and just try and tackle the next track as best you can?
Oh, I haven't really thought about it. I haven't you guys brought it up.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it sounds good. Yeah, I think our game will be sort of round to round. You know, we'll if we can both sort of score good points and end up, you know, 1-2, you know, whether it's Daniel or me, I think we'll both be wrapped. You know, so just keeping it clean. That's our goal each round, I think.
It might come down to a battle in the last race between us two. So yeah, it'll be good. Gloves will be off, and we'll see what happens.
The team orders are all off, and go. So
Fire rules. Here we go.
Yeah.
Black and red rules for Carlins. Oh, boys, thanks so much for coming to have a chat to us. Let us know how helps get you and Carlins Motorsport out on track. Anyone else you wish to give a shout out to as well, and for myself and Hutto and the rest of the league, congratulations on your P2 and 3 here this evening and another double podium for Carlins Motorsport.
Cheers, guys. Yeah, Driver 808 on YouTube, Glam Raider, Little Rara, Eagles Automotive, and shout outs to Atari, Bianca, French and Minka, and Zach and Levi.
Well, gentlemen, best of luck next week out at Watkins Glen. It's the final sprint round of the season and the first of an F1 Shadow Series triple header. We look forward to seeing how you guys go, and we'll see if we'll chat to you once again after next week's race.
Cheers, guys. Catch you next week.
Thanks guys.
Boys.
See ya.
Cheers.
All right, Hutto. And then there was one. Through all the fireworks and smoke and mirrors and the carnage that unfolded this evening, Danny Davidson has done it once again. He's won himself yet another race victory here in the feature race out at Virginia International Raceway. Mr. Davidson, you pulled out a miraculous win against all odds. You're back in the Aston Martin livery. Is there some luck to do with that, or did you decide maybe your luck wasn't going your way when you were in that black Ferrari livery previously?
Hey guys, thanks. Yeah, the luck was a bit spotty, the livery, so I thought go back to livery when I won the last race before Monza. Great performance, so I think I'm going to keep it now.
Is it like a lucky pair of socks?
Looks like it.
Yeah, fantastic race, Danny. I guess race 1 saw you have a little bit of a bingle there, and you filtered back and I guess took P6. Race 2, oh sorry, no, you took P5, and then yeah, race 2 started P6, and then managed to work your way up the field. What were you thinking late stages when I guess Jay Dixon was out in front, but he pitted very early on? Did you know he was going to run out of fuel, or were you just hoping like hell that he wouldn't have enough?
Well, I know he's like a bit of a strategy expert, so I knew that was worrying straight away when I saw him pitting like that. I knew he was up to something. And then when he came out, I basically thought I was done for the race. I thought he's going to get to the end and he was going to win. I was actually shocked. I was actually shocked when he pitted again, and obviously very happy. But yeah, very tired. And almost got there.
I think, yeah, upstairs we were crunching the numbers and looking at the time and figured that he probably would have been, it was 2 laps short in the end from Dixon. I guess for you, quite fortunate early on as well, De Bono and Ryder coming to grief with each other a couple of times. Then I think De Bono had another one with Sinise as well. I guess you put it down to, I guess, being clean and consistent, whatever. How much luck is out there for you in these last 2 weeks, Danny?
I mean, it's a bit of luck. I mean, but it's also like avoiding mistakes while other people make mistakes. I mean, when Dylan got ahead, like I wasn't surprised when he got involved in an incident, and I was just trying to keep it clean. And at the end of the day, that's super important, just to avoid the mistakes. So I guess a bit of luck, a bit of a mix of luck, and just also on my part, driving clean, keeping it clean.
Bit of good racing. And I guess, lastly, how important was positioning of your car on the track? We saw several times moves being made on the inside and the outside down that back straight. For you, what was going through your mind when trying to attack or defend, or knowing when to attack or defend?
It was very hectic. I mean, a lot of the time you're not even thinking. I'm trying to make the most of it. When there's cars like to the left and right, I'm just looking for whatever little gap exists, and you never know what's going to happen. So yeah, it's just sometimes I'm not really thinking. I'm just trying to make the most of it. It's pretty crazy out there. A lot of the overtaking during that race, actually. I'm glad to have survived.
Well, Danny, of course, we have a massive triple header coming up towards the end of the season. Next week, our final sprint round at Watkins Glen. Are you feeling confident going into that round that you can continue this run of form, or are you just going to play it by ear and see how you go next week?
I'm pretty confident, but that's a slipstream track, so it means cars are going to be bunched together again, so anything could happen. So not super confident, but I think I'll be up there. Just have to focus on trying to finish again and avoid the incidents.
Well,
I'm looking forward to that.
Well, you've pulled off some fantastic victories previously. You are up there as one of the best privateers we've seen in the SFLs and the F3s. Let us know if there's anyone out there that helps get you on track, or anyone you wish to give a shout out to. From myself, Hutto, and the rest of the league, congratulations on your race win here in the feature race out at VIR for round 6.
Yeah, thanks guys. Yeah, just give a shout out to you guys and everybody behind the scenes as usual. Doing a great job. You make everything possible. So yeah, look forward to next week.
Well, mate, best of luck next week out of Watkins Glen. If we don't get a chance to speak to you, best of luck in the final couple of rounds after that. And hopefully we'll see you finish at the top end of town once again and lock yourself well and truly into the Australian F1 Nationals postseason.
Okay, thanks guys.
Thanks,
See you
mate.
next week.
Yes, Danny.
Well, Hutto, another race. Nuclear warheads, a multitude of them, just getting launched into VIR. I mean, there were some absolutely spectacular moments in this race. Some questionable decisions from some drivers out there and when making their assaults on other drivers, but a phenomenal race nonetheless.
Absolutely. Like, the race one was action-packed. I think, you couldn't blink anywhere up and down the field, and right at the front as well. It was just action-packed all the way through to the end, despite the safety car. And then race 2 became more about strategy. We almost saw huge gambles pay off, but unfortunately for several drivers, it didn't quite work out. And Danny, Daniel, and David are all relishing the spoils. Hamish.
They are, and good thing for championship prospect Dylan De Bono. He did make that comeback to P12, so he only gave up 40 points to Daniel Byrne in this race. Only gave up 36 to David Gallo, so not that much of a net loss. He can definitely make that back in the final couple of rounds, but it's been a massive season thus far, Hutto. We've got our F1 Shadow Series triple header coming up at the end of the season, including Watkins Glen, Jerez, and Daytona, to end us out here in the Super Formula Lights. Tomorrow night, JP and Sinker will be back in the booth for the GR86 Nationals, to Hutto's absolute behest. I heard him absolutely have a massive sigh of disappointment then. But they will be going racing at Mobility Resort Motegi for the East Circuit. You guys saw it last week in the Supercars. You get to see it this week in the GR86s. Big shout out to all of our series sponsors, including our title sponsors, Warren & Brown Tools, for their continued support of the Tuesday night V8 Supercars series and the Sunday night V8 Supercars Championship, as well to Cooler Master, our title sponsor on the Wednesday nights for the Super Formula Championship, And as well to Shannon's Insurance for their support of the Thursday night GR86 Nationals. And to our other sponsors, a big thank you goes out to NeuroPower, DSL Rail Services, Shunt Scenery, and Grim Industries, the home of the V8 Coffee Table, which can be found on Prime Video's Top Gear Australia during the news, interviews, and other studio segments. But this is all from me, from Hamish Munro and Brad Hudson alongside. We appreciate your time, appreciate you being here with us once again. If you're new here or you've been here for a while and you're enjoying what you're seeing, be sure to hit the like button, the subscribe, and the bell icon as well. But until next time, thank you so much for joining us here for round 6 of season 4 of 2024 of the Cooler Masters Super Formula Championship out at Virginia International Raceway. But until then, stay safe, drive hard, and as always, bye for now.
This is amazing. I was clash heads again. This is like Chaz Mostert and Cam Waters. Almost the same situation. Better contact going down the hill. Sam Noble wants to sniff on Dave Coleman now. Sam Noble bottle right now because tell you what, Bruce Tanak and Jamie Dyke just absolutely drove away from us.